There was Were-Rat. It came with Were-Rat minis too, but like one of the cool ones was one of the minis was a pit bull in like a pirate outfit, and I was like, oh, I think Murder Beard. I need that dog.
We had the so last night was the game that I'm a player in, and about like part of the way through the game last night, I was like, oh, my character. I was like, I'm the Kel of this group, where they're like doing stuff, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are these decisions you're making right now? We found like a were-rat, a dude who was a were-rat that had been like chained up in the basement of this house.
Was that the extra fancy, way too nice mansion?
Yeah.
I had to like cut out the
there was a dude. So apparently the husband of the dude who everybody had thought was dead is a were-rat, and like the way they had gotten around it was like she would chain him up in the basement during like I guess the full moon so that he wouldn't hurt anybody. But then we don't know what's going on yet. Clearly she went evil or something, and had left him like locked down there. And so we came across him, and everybody's like, "Okay, we're gonna let you out." My character was like, "You're aware he's a were creature, right?" Like,
no, how do you say
no
comment?
What the fuck? He had the arrangement with his wife where he had to be locked up like once a month so he didn't rampage and hurt people. He was like, "Well, I don't want trouble." I'm like, "That's clearly not your decision." And they were like, "Well,
I forgot I gotta add.
People might say that we're monsters." I'm like, "It's different."
He's a literal monster.
He's an actual monster.
Part-time.
And I was like, as we're having this argument, I was like, "I'm Kel."
So I realized I have to add the actual cards to my spell book. I forgot about that. That's okay. I doubt I'll be using all the new spells tonight.
Woo!
How many spell slots do you have?
Enough.
All of them?
I have 4 first level spells, 3 second level spells, 3 third level spells, and 1 fourth level spell slot.
That's excellent. 4, 3, 3. Yeah, because then at the next level you get a second max level.
Alright. Now that the audience just have to listen to me eat for the first 2 minutes of our boy.
Have they always had
We're gonna get a bits donation saying just order out next time.
Is that new, or have they always had these little?
Those are your half.
I know,
So
but like
you
have they always been the? I'm saying in the sheet, these little letters and the dots.
I have no idea. On D&D Beyond, they're a circle on the outside. So these are probably your half proficiencies and your full proficiencies.
Yeah, I'm just saying the half of the H and P's in these circles. I don't remember
half
noticing
proficiencies.
I don't remember.
He's a bard.
Notice
half proficiency and everything. He's not good at.
Oh, so I got you.
It's more just like
that seems unnecessary.
I was asking
for them to have marked that.
Yeah, I was asking if that was new.
They usually mark, like on D&D Beyond, it's marked with a half circle. A full circle is regular proficiency, and expertise is a circle around the filled circle.
I guess the way I like
it's
for
honestly,
me, like if I'm a bard, I'm like I know I just get to add half my proficiency. Yeah. The H is just like extra garbage that's on my cat. It's like cluttered.
Yeah, that
annoys me.
I don't know if that's new or not because I don't remember recognizing it.
This
before.
is probably a printer error. The printer, the PDF that you saved to probably couldn't
Speaking of
do.
which, I'm gonna run Alar tonight.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think that's just like a Unicode error.
You go invisible and walk straight through a corridor of traps.
Yes.
Okay.
You clear these traps. Fireball. Traps cleared. I wonder if he's going to take for magical secrets.
I cannot do that.
And then the E's. I have like
the
one
wizard
E
I
in
play
here.
tomorrow
2
does
E's.
not have any evocation magic at all.
Oh, expert maybe?
Honestly, it's more fun, except that I really want to like launch things with Catapult now that I don't have yet.
I saw a thing after you were talking about that. I saw somebody.
Well, there's nothing that really like saps your productivity at work than like trying to work on spreadsheets while a 2-hour conversation.
That's why I have that one muted.
About throwing gnomes.
But it was weird. As soon as he had that
group chat,
as soon as I saw those messages, I then saw on Instagram somebody was like, "Hey, gnomes, just so you know, you can cast reduce whatever reduce size.
Enlarge reduce to reduce yourself. Yeah.
Reduce yourself and then mage hand fly yourself around.
Yeah. No. What's his name? Not Fred.
Dave.
Vickers. Dave. Yeah. He's Vickers. Sorry. He posted that as a picture. And then that spawned the entire conversation of, well, if you can do mage hand minute, because goblins can do it too, because they are also on the low end 30 pounds. So if you also have enlarge reduce, we are actually live.
Yeah, we are. Welcome to Goblin Chucking with Tabletop Legends. We went live about a minute ago, but we were engrossed in our goblin discussion, so I just decided I'd wait and see how long it took before you guys noticed. Hello, thank you for joining us. It's another Tuesday here at Tabletop Legends. You are joining us live right now on Twitch at Proficiency Bonuses channel. Thank you for joining us. Please make sure to subscribe and follow the channel if you have not done so. And I don't know, bits is a thing. You can do that, I guess. I don't know how to internet.
Magical internet money.
As you can see, we are down in Alar tonight. Adam has a work function and will not be joining us, so I will be running his character, or as these guys told me, I will be using his character as the trap detector, in that we will walk him down hallways and see what happens to him.
We will not use his ability to detect traps.
No, there will be no detecting traps. They will be... I played a 3.5 game where nobody in the party had detect traps, so we just got like a piece of firewood, and I named it Kenny Loggins, and our tactic was just we would throw it through doorways and like down stairwells and stuff to see if it set off any traps before we would go through.
I was tempted to take invisibility, but then I was like, with his just ability to turn invisible, your ability to turn other people invisible, I was like, that's too much invisibility.
Too much invisibility.
Too much invisibility.
Is there ever too much invisibility?
I can do it at will.
We're never going to spend a full session fully visible ever again.
So let us jump right into it. We'll hear a little bit more from our sponsors during our ad break. But I want to give a quick shout out to Marble Moon Studio in the 8th house, to Little Dragon Corp. You can type !Little Dragon in the chat at any time during tonight's episode and get a quick link to Little Dragon Corp's website, where you can buy a bunch of sweet dice and other tabletop gamey stuff, and all of our phones should be on airplane mode.
Yep, maximum airplane.
Which is a thing that I didn't remember to tell the group before we started. Somebody, I assume, is going to drop that in chat in a moment, and it will be there.
Airplane mode.
We rejoin our group after a little bit of a sort of, we've had a kind of a montage-esque time-lapse type of session last time. It's been about going on almost 5 months since the party lost Kel on a mission to what is happening?
That is nibbling.
Olive.
Oh, I thought it was Becca. I was like, what is she doing? Why is she
on a mission to Voland? They have done some various work for the Collective of the Arcane Eye since then, but no real large scale serious missions for them in that time. They have acquired +1 goblin since last time.
+1?
+1.
He is a magical goblin.
He's +1 goblin.
He's a +1 to all goblining.
Yes. You guys now make all goblin rolls at advantage. Fidget, the divination wizard, after having a very strange encounter with another ex-member of the party, Osrius, had a vision showing him the remainder of the members of the Fool's Errant, as well as some sort of a fate-entangled premonition involving Kel and himself, and has now come to the party to find out where all this is going.
Massive audio problems.
Oh, are we?
Oh.
What does
Not normal audio problems.
I don't know what massive audio problems means, or what we do to fix it.
Kep says video is several seconds behind the audio.
Alright, let me...
Well, that's literally the worst.
Let's try...
We are actually being dubbed right now.
Yeah.
Our mouths are just moving.
You have dishonored my family!
Let's just pull the big shut it all down lever.
Can I restart Reaper without having to drop Twitch?
Actually. Oh yeah, that is minutes behind.
Just said we have just performed the tried and true method of troubleshooting, where we just turned it off and turned it back on, and we will see what that did. So thank you for giving us a heads up in chat. Hopefully that was an issue on our tech side with our mixer, and not some bollocks with Streamlabs or Twitch.
The internet is now broken.
Yep.
The internet is now broken.
Yep.
The internet is now
Uh-oh.
Wow, that's worse than before. Really ironic that he looped on that line.
What? Assuming that our sound is working okay, I hope that it is. Let us press forward as we rejoin the group now. Having just they just got a sweet set of loot crate gifties.
Well,
at the end of it, well,
You got a mayonnaise jar.
4 of them got sweet loot crate gifties. 1 of them got a jar of endless mayonnaise. But
Fidget would love a jar of endless mayonnaise.
So we're gonna jump in now. The following day after that took place at the end of our last session. For those of you keeping track at home, the date is currently the 22nd of Tarsak, or the Claw of Storms.
that sounds made up.
It is made up. It's the calendar of Harptos.
That was the joke.
Welcome. We're playing D&D. It's all made up.
Tarsak?
Tarsak. Tarsakh. Let me double. I was messing with this quite a bit. Let me just double check and make sure that's right.
Play some Escape from Tarsak.
It does. It does actually
Sounds
matter.
Klingon. In the Klingon summer. Everybody gets a free bat.
Can't tell if that's a sweat joke or not.
No. Everybody gets a free batleth.
What it is what is the national day? Like, is it a National Pie Day in the D&D?
Oh, I don't know. You are
Apple
close
Day.
to a
National Day of Sand. It's always the National Day of Sand where we're going.
general session notes. Nope. Adventure diary. There's the calendar of Harptos. Thanks, calendar of Harptos. 22. Yes, 22 Tarsak, the Claw of Storms. And it is just after breakfast, early morning, at 28 Dorset, where you have gathered in the Arcanum of the Collective of the Arcane Eye on the 3rd floor of this building to receive the briefing for your mission and to receive a number of things that the Collective want to equip you with before setting you out. Prior to you guys coming up for this meeting, Stanfield was dispatched from the premises to go and retrieve Henrietta and your wagon, as there's going to be some traveling involved in your journey to where you're going for Namara's mission, and Henrietta will be accompanying you. So he's in the process of taking care of that, and we rejoin you guys upstairs as Namara, Dimios, and Colin gather together to prepare you for your mission. So we join as you are all gathered around, and Namara is in the process of saying, "Thus, as I told you before, the mission that I wish to undertake has to do with exploration of something that I believe to be a possible relic site or ancient Invarian ruin. As part of my studies, I have made it a habit to collect folklore and myths, legends, especially from my home kingdom of Honorand. One such story that I have heard of many years past is a story told by a group called the Malaka tribe. They tell of a place near to their village's tribal lands that they call the Scarred Land. They have many superstitions about this land being corrupted and
haunted by evil and angry spirits. They say that animals in the area are wrong in some ways. They say that no one dares enter the area, for those who do never return. For many years I have had this kept in my record. It was not something I had high on my list of priorities, but recent events that have word of which have reached me from up in Valond have led me to reconsider this matter. A group of private organizations in Valond financed an expedition to what was apparently an Invarian ruin far to the north. A facility that, as I hear it, was called the Botanium. The details are not important, but needless to say, what they found there were the ancient spells woven into the facility itself by the Invarians, either due to long age and disuse or some other corrupting influence, had begun to fail, causing the plant life within the facility to grow strange and corrupted and corrosive. This, I believe, sounds similar enough to the stories told by the Malaka tribe that perhaps this is something worth searching. If this also is an Invarian ruin, there could be any number of relics to find inside, or at the very least, a lucrative find in an Invarian ruin. At the very least, if it turns out to be, as the people of the Malatka tribe believe, some sort of angry spirit or otherwise, it is perhaps something that you as a group can look into, and if it is within your power to fix, at the very least we will have done something good to help the people of that region. Are there any questions so far? Yes, Mr. Fidget.
How could anyone return if no one goes there?
She kind of chuckles a little. She says, exactly the sort of contradiction you come across with this sort of folklore. It stands to reason that if no one ever comes back, there would be no stories. So it is, I believe, more likely that the stories come from brave or foolhardy warriors or people wishing to prove themselves that have gone there and returned with such tales. Hard to know for sure. As I say, these are all second-hand accounts, third-hand accounts that I have collected via my travels. I myself have never been to the Malakas tribe's lands, and for that matter, do not even have them on a map to send you there. It is part of the reason that it has taken me so long to arrange for you to go on this mission. A guide was necessary. Nula.
How can a plant be corrosive?
She kind of like... You get the sense that she's almost like confused that you've... She's like, how far do I have to break this down? She eventually settles on, from what I know of the events in the Botanium, the organization that was researching it sent two teams. The first team went out on the expedition and did not return. The second team was sent to find them. Of that group, only about half of the original members returned. As it was described to me through my sources, what they found inside were plant life that had been corrupted, as one might see a fungus or a rot take over and cause decay. There was, if rumor serves, some sort of extremely potent sentient plant creature of some sort at the center of this facility. All of the details are unknown to me, as this organization laid claim to it
A lot of the information coming from it is proprietary information for them. I do know, however, that from rumors it was due to cascading failures of spellwork in the facility. This is what leads me to believe that perhaps it is a similar situation to what is happening in these Scotlands. Fidget.
You said that they sent 2 groups and the first one didn't come back. And the rescue group, only half of them came back.
Indeed.
Could you send a group before us?
We are not going. We're not going there.
I thought that's where we're going.
You mean to this? We are not going. I'm not sending you to the Botanium. I am sending you to the Scotlands.
You're sending us to a place that's like the potato.
The potato?
Potatium.
Potatium.
Colin's like, dear God, were you not listening to any of that? She says, you raise a valid point, which I think, if there are no other questions, leads me to the next bit of business. We have a few things that we would like to give you that may come in handy for just such a situation as you finding yourselves in an area that is perhaps more than we had bargained for.
I mean, plants that talk. And walk.
Not where we're going. A different place. Different place entirely.
But it could be similar.
Maybe it got up and walked to where we're going.
I hope not. She says, why don't we move on?
Fidget puts his hand down.
She says,
yeah, because you were like, why don't we move on? Oh.
She says, finding someone who was familiar with the Malatka tribe's lands was hard enough. The second issue came from, Fidget, you are, like myself, native to the region, so you probably will understand this. For
You're
those of
from
you...
the plant moving place?
Oh my God! Move on from the plant moving thing.
Colin is like, do you want to just wait downstairs until the rest of us are done? That might be easier.
What are you putting timeout? You're gonna get a timeout.
She says, the people of Honorand. Something you must understand about the region. It is not a place that has ever willingly submitted to outside rule. To many that live there, there are the free peoples, and then there are everyone else. Many down there will not look at you, or you, or you, any differently than they would look at the High Empyrean of the Ignean Empire. You are either of the free people, or you are an outsider. I tell you this to make you precautious. They will be civil to you, likely, but be prepared. Honorand is a different place. As such, it became difficult for me to find someone willing to guide a group of individuals from northern kingdoms. Mr. Fidget was instrumental in making this happen. Once I was able to parlay the info that we had one member of the party who was native to Honorand, I was able to come up with a guide for you. That being said, Honorand is very decentralized. It is not like the northern kingdoms. There are no teleportation circles. We have arranged for transport for your group and your cart to the city of Ald in southern Midland. That is the closest that we can get you to Honorand. From there, it is about a 10-day walk to the village of Wolfmore. That is where we have arranged for your guide to meet you. We will meet there and they will take you the rest of the way to Malatkas village.
Quick question.
Yes.
If it's decentralized, are there roads, or is it mostly just like paths from the locals?
Mostly paths. Much of Honorand is flat badlands area. It is largely untamed wilderness.
Okay.
Thus the necessity for a guide. She says, your guide's name is Feather on the Wind. Are any of you familiar with tabaxi?
I've heard of them, but I'm not sure I've ever met one.
Most of them are native to the Iolaquis archipelago in the southern sea, but a significant amount of individuals have taken up residence within the Honorand region. She says they are a feline-esque race of people, very proud, many of which have quite particular customs. I warn you that Feather on the Wind might be odd. She gives a little bit of a wry smile and she says, though pleasant company.
What's that mean?
Nothing. She takes out a pouch, which jingles with coin, and she takes out a small crate. She says, this pouch contains 100 gold pieces,
Nada.
50 of which has been agreed to be paid to Feather on the Wind upon meeting her, the other 50 upon your successful delivery to the lands of the Malatka tribe. She places her hand on the box. This contains a few spell components, reagents, salves that I picked up from the Alchemy Guild. This is the other part of her payment. Keep these with you, deliver them to her for her services.
Does she get the spell components before or after delivery?
Says the only thing arranged upon was the gold was to be paid half and half. You may negotiate with her as you see fit on the crate of spell components. Dimios steps up at this point, having kind of remained quiet. There are a few other things that I wish to give to you. We have, as a group, he gestures to himself, Namara and Colin, we have had some discussions about the group of you, and we believe that it is time to give you some necessary equipment to assist you in doing your job. That being the case, I have two things that I wish to bestow upon you. He removes from a shelf on a side, kind of a side thing next to him, kind of a multicolored satchel with a strap on it, kind of messenger bag style. He says, "You are, I assume, familiar with a bag of holding?" He sets it out for whoever to take. This is yours to take with you. The other item that we wish to give to you, and he then moves over, and from that same shelf, he takes out about yay big, yay tall, a chest that is made of wood and bound with runed metal that you guys recognize as looking very similar to the much larger one that you have seen them taking the magical stuff that you bring them in and out of. He says, this chest is an item that should assist you with holding on to any relics that you might come across in your journeys. Unlike our larger one, this one is not an extra dimensional space. The intention is that you are able to transport it in your bag of holding. And you may not be familiar, but bad things happen when you put extra dimensional spaces into each other. This one is confined by the volume of the container. it can be set, the lock on it is a magical lock. It can be set with an activation word that the group of you can choose for yourself. And once locked, it is extremely difficult to get into via either mundane or arcane methods. The intention is that you can use this to store any relics that you might pick up during your travels, or other valuable items should you wish to secure them inside there. The box itself is runed and shielded, so that all but the most powerful or particularly volatile relics can safely be stored within. It is our hope that this will make it easier for you to travel with them.
Should we think about setting up two-factor authorization to get into it? Or is just the one word good?
I suppose you could, I don't know, come up with like a series of riddles.
I like riddles.
What's the answer? Let me divine it.
Let's see. I think that's.
Is it one of those locks that you just tick halfway this way?
So no, it actually doesn't have like a keyhole or anything in it. It's like a metal clasp on the base of the chest, and then on the lid has like a part that when you close the lid, it just like clicks into itself, and then via that activation word, which you can decide. You guys can come up with whatever you want it to be. It will lock or unlock.
Unlock.
That's the worst code.
How hard is it to change the passcode?
He goes, we can reset that before you leave.
I don't want to forget it.
Might I suggest something slightly harder to guess?
Clearly, it's unlock capital U1.
Perhaps something like Forzair.
Mayonnaise.
Forzair's mayonnaise. Everyone's favorite mayonnaise brand.
Does it require a material component?
You gotta rub mayonnaise on it first. It's getting worse.
Well, now we have to get the jug.
Well, I will. For now, you'll have to stick with the. You will have to stick with the verbal passcode. I will do a little bit of inquiry at the guild hall to see if they, if any of their artificers there have done any research into mayonnaise activated locking mechanisms.
You probably should do that.
At this point, Colin steps
We should
up.
have Colin do it.
Colin steps and says, "Oh, you can't rely on no. I'm not gonna. Well, whatever passcode I picked, I'd forget immediately. Okay, so my part of this, I do apologize. I have forgotten who all of you are.
Every time
with this guy.
128.
He said, we don't have time for that. I wrote down what I'm supposed to do here. He says, and I've been, at least I keep track. You're going on a mission for them. I got it. He says, my part of this, he holds out another bag, also containing coin. Sets it down. He says, there's 150 gold in there. Stanfield is taking care of supplying your wagon and your horse with both feed for the horse during the journey, as well as rations for yourself for the 10-day trip from the city of Ald to where you will meet at Wolfmaw. This is there. That 150 is for resupplying at Wolfmaw, as well as any other incidental expenses you might incur on your trip. You will supply enough to get you to Wolfmaw with a few days to spare in case of any incidents, and that is your stipend to restock for the journey onto the whatever their name was, tribe's place.
Discard land.
This guy, yeah, but there's people there, and I forgot their name already.
Malatka.
And then Mara's like, he's Malatka tribe. And the group of them kind of all look over you guys. Does all of this make sense?
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. You go to the teleportation circle, teleport as far as we can, meet up with the guide. We're meeting up.
Feather on the wind.
We're meeting up with Feather on the Wind here, or
Wolfmaw.
at
Wolfmaw.
So we have to get from the teleportation circle to Wolfmaw.
And they are able to like mark where Wolfmaw is on your map. That is so they tell you that's actually the like the largest home village of one of the major nations within Honorand, the Lakoshan tribe. It's actually pretty close to the like so in like the southeastern tip of where, so there's like Mithlande and the Ignean Empire and like Honorand's borders all kind of converge right in this area. So you'll be heading from Ald, sort of like southeast, kind of along the Mithlande and Ignean border for a bit, where then eventually like the Ignean border diverges northernly away from you, and you guys will be heading deeper into Honorand territory, where you'll meet up at Wolfmaw.
Gotcha.
There is one last thing before you go. Colin, if you would please, the item that I brought earlier.
He goes, alright. And he goes over to a pretty big safe that they have over in like the corner of the laboratory here. Begins to undo the lock. And Dimia says, we gave a great deal of consideration to how we would equip you going forward. The bag of holding, the arcane lock chest are examples of this, but after what happened in Verlond with Kellen, we thought perhaps we should invest in something that hopefully can prove to be preventative for you. Colin comes back, having retrieved from the safe a long, thin spell scroll tube, as well as he's carrying like a jar that looks like it has like a hunk of peat moss in it, and he passes them both over to you. And Namara says, we obtained a spell scroll of teleportation. We believe you are at least passingly familiar, as Tori and Adrian put several to use in your presence when you were brought together, with the exception of Fidget. You should know they are extremely expensive. We wish to impress upon you that we hope you will use this item only in an emergency. If you find yourselves in a position where you need to escape from a situation and return here to the Arcanum, that is what this item is for. She gestures to the glass jar containing the lump of peat moss. That item was taken off of the stock of our spell component stores. As such, it will serve as a link of sorts to this location. You can use the scroll of teleport to go anywhere you wish, but there are risks involved if you do not take certain steps. Using that link, along with the spell scroll, will ensure a safe transit back here to this location. We advise that you keep this safe and handy, and use it only in an absolute moment of necessity. This may not be enough to prevent a tragedy such as what occurred with Kel in the future, but perhaps it will do some good, we hope.
He sort of look at you. Any questions with the spell scroll?
Does the moss have to be alive? Do we need to water it?
No, it is a dry piece of peat moss. The moss is not really even the important part. The fact that the jar of moss came from this location is what will tie it here. It will serve as an anchor of sorts. Periodically, we will have to replace the anchor to keep a fresh connection to this location. But for now, that should do.
Do you all mind if I hold on to the teleportation scroll and jar? Or do you want to separate the jar?
No, I think it's fine.
How likely are you to run away? Because I'm very likely to run away. So I should not have that. Unless you want me to run away. Because I will do that.
No running away. You're one of us now. Really like.
As this 8-foot tall dragon just part of the horde. I
am not used to this.
I will not leave anyone behind if I can avoid it.
So then maybe you shouldn't have it?
You might want to consider who's the most likely to be the last one standing in case things go to shite.
I don't like responsibilities.
Well, if history goes to show anything, it's usually not Nula.
Aylar?
Nope.
No, he's usually the first one on the floor, taking a nap. I think it's fine having Walter have it.
I don't really typically take that much damage except for like a few very specific incidents with guards.
Usually okay, except for that time I literally died. So...
Oh, I did get punched by a mummy one time.
Yeah.
Alright, well, with all of that settled, I think we will begin our journey.
Oh, we have to talk to the dwarf
I guess
first.
if you die, you can just come back,
Ron
right?
has to die to the dwarf.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that
Okay,
way.
so if
Way doesn't work that way.
I guess we'll say as the rest of you begin to pack your travel bags, your backpacks, your hobo bindle and Fidget's case.
I guess I'll
can
take
we-
the bag of holding.
I would say, can
Sure.
we make the bag of holding his new hobo pencil?
Yeah, you
There's
can.
going to be so much trash.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good. We don't need the new guy with the good stuff. Yeah, he's good. I'll take it.
Okay.
So at some point, as you guys are kind of going about getting ready, Stanfield comes back with Henrietta and your cart, stocked with enough supplies for the 10-day journey from Ald to Wolfmaw. Braun, you can kind of slip back upstairs to the Arcanum, to the laboratory, and talk to Collins. As you come up, he sort of looks up and he goes, "Hey,
How's it going?
you got a number?
Yeah,
I should know you."
125, I think.
Sort of
I'm 128.
Yeah, I'm 125.
opens his book, he flips through. And he starts reading and he's kind of nodding, as he goes through. And then, like, you can tell as he gets to the bottom of the page, he goes, "You've got the mail jar." Sit down.
Yes, I do, dwarf.
Let's talk.
Let's.
He says, "So, we picked up that mail jar. Well, okay, I suppose it's an alchemy job, but that's not the important part. The important part is the mail. We picked that up years ago, and I had it at first, and I used it. Oh, did I use it? I'm a man that loves mail on my sandwiches. I don't know what to tell you.
What type of sandwiches?
You're not here." Normal sandwiches? The hell kind of question is
He's being
that?
so loud that Nula is like gagging from the next room over. He's like, "Mayo!" And she's like, "Ugh."
He said, I'll be honest, I got carried away. There was an incident. I may have crafted 2 gallons of mail. and ate it with my fist out of the jug until I passed out.
We've all been there.
After,
That's like, Rob's like, we've all been there.
because after that, she took it away, and she locked it in her loot crate, and I haven't gotten to taste that sweet alchemy meal in nigh on a decade. Now she's giving it to you. That's fine. I respect the passage of ownership, but I propose a deal. I have something that I think perhaps is maybe of interest to you, and I'm willing to call it a continuing loan. The delivery of regular payments of mayonnaise, which will ensure the possession of this item to yourself. How do you feel about this?
I'm very intrigued.
Alright, let me show you what it does. And he goes back into his like highly singed corner of the laboratory, and he starts rooting around underneath this shelf, and you hear a bunch of like shuffling and clanging around. There is a small like a bunch of like smoke. Like, oh crap! I forgot to put that there. Shove. And he comes back up. He has what looks like a small music box in his hands. He brings it over. And he sets it down near you. And he goes, listen. He opens the lid. And what comes out of the music box is not the sort of, high, like, plinky, tinny noise of, a music box that would be, set to, like, one of those little metallic prongs hitting the spikes on a wheel.
Yes,
It
how,
is-
how a music box works.
How a music box works. That's not what comes out of that box as he opens it. In fact, the box appears empty as far as you can tell. But what fills the room is the most soothing and beautiful violin music you can recall hearing. And as you listen to it, you kind of lean back against a shelf, and you're listening to it, and you just feel at peace, almost as if you could just take a nap right now. You find yourself leaning your head back and closing your eyes, and then snap! He shuts it again. And you're like, bleh. You don't feel tired at all anymore now that you're not listening to that music. And he's like, that's pretty good, right?
It's a box that makes you sleepy.
When you put it like that, it sounds shitty, but yeah! It's a box with an enchantment on it that you can use to beguile the minds. Perhaps you need to ensure that a certain, somebody falls asleep so you can sneak past.
But if I listen to it, don't I also fall asleep?
No, only the others listening to it. If you're the one that opens the box, you're not affected.
Interesting.
He looks at you.
Is this your only offer?
He says, I gotta be honest, I didn't prepare any other items. So if you want to drive a hard bargain, we're gonna have to revisit this when you come back after your mission.
I think this is only 1 gallon of mayonnaise. What is it? 2 gallons?
It does make 2 gallons of mayonnaise.
This is only 1 gallon, worth 1 gallon of mayonnaise. I don't know if it's worth 2.
This is...
1 gallon is a disturbing amount of mayonnaise.
Shut up.
Couldn't he just go to the store? And
Shut up.
He seems to be doing a bunch of math on his fingers of like, how long will the gallon of mayonnaise last me? And he frowns as if he's determined that it's not enough. But he goes, you drive a hard bargain. I'll have to think on what else I'm willing to part with, but I'll make that deal with you. I'll give you the music box for a gallon of meal. We can talk more when you return.
All right.
He like slides it your way. He just pulls up like a bucket. Yeah. Yeah, so you just go mayonnaise, and it's just a bunch of mayonnaise comes out of the bucket, and he goes, "It was a pleasure doing business with you. Now leave me."
Ron can't get out of the room fast enough.
What have we got into?
So Jigglypuff box.
Jigglypuff box. So the specifics of that item, if you want to read them, is it is an ebony and ivory box that plays lovely violin music when opened. Aside from the opener, anyone who hears the music becomes extremely drowsy.
Cool.
So, you guys hitch up the horse, hitch up the wagon, gather your stuff, and you depart. You head through the city to the now familiar Mithlindian transit station. It takes you quite a bit longer to essentially wait to process through the line and get through a teleport. Now that you have Henrietta and your cart with you, you get a little bit of an idea of why, like everybody doesn't just like teleport everywhere all the time. The line's pretty long, and you guys know that you waited quite some time before even getting this slot. But eventually, you make it through the transit station. Your turn comes up. You kind of load up onto that staging platform, and those massive stone runed rings in the floor all circle around and lock into place. The single central line of runes illuminating and portal opening in the center of the chamber, and the Mithlindian TSA agent basically gestures forward and says, "Fool's errant, 1045 portal to Ald. Please proceed through the teleportation circle. Take care not to touch the edges on your way through. Thank you." And you guys move through.
Couldn't we just walk there? Do we have
No.
to use the teleportation?
You can walk there.
The back of the wagon is an extra-dimensional space that protects you from the effects of the teleportation circle.
Oh, okay.
Just go chill in there for a little bit.
Alright, then Neela gets in the wagon. And you guys go through the portal. And it's exactly the same as every other time you've went through the portal. So Neela, just like every other time you've been through the portal, you suffer no effects because it doesn't do that to anybody. And for some reason you probably throw up anyway. Who knows? It's a mystery to everyone.
There's lightning everywhere.
You guys transit through to the city of Ald, which has a kind of a similar looking sized chamber, although this one is clearly not underground. It just appears to be like in a large building. And as you guys make your way out, leading Henrietta and the wagon, you see the city of Ald sprawling out before you. I don't have a Mithlindian overview map to give you, but basically you went from like, if Invarian is like smack in the center of Mithlinde, you guys went to like the southeast corner of Mithlinde's territory. Pretty close to, like I said, like the Mithlindian, Ignean, and Honorand borders all kind of converge sort of in this region. As you exit the transit station, you look out over Ald. It's a much flatter, much more like sprawled out city than Niveria is, with its concentric ringed in walled sections. Or Adricombe with its like tiers and bridges. This is sort of just kind of like spreads out in all directions all around you. A lot of the buildings are single story or two-story. You don't see many buildings that are much more than that in this city.
and everything here is largely made out of. There's definitely some like timber and some stone. There's a lot of buildings made out of like a red brick material. You are definitely south. It is nice and warm. Fidget, I don't know how familiar you might be with this city if he's ever been here, but the sort of the climate here is a little more temperate, a little warmer than up in Invarian was. With your map telling you where to go, it's easy enough to basically set your bearings to the southeast and head out. Well, my music's been off this whole time. Takes you about an hour to like get to the very outskirts of Ald. And what you see extending to the south is a wide, open prairie. A lot of like kind of scrubby prairie grass in patches, a lot of open land. Ald does border, what you guys would know from maps. It actually borders the same Nivian river that Niveria is next to, just at like the much further southern portion of it. So especially along the river, there's a lot of more lush growth, and the path that you start along heading out of Ald does kind of follow the river a ways for most of the first day before the Nivian River kind of bends off more like straight southward, and you guys keep heading a little more to the east. By the end of the first day of your guys' travel outside of Ald, you have passed a handful of scattered either single sort of homesteads or a few kind of clusters of buildings. But where you guys end up as night falls is pretty well out, kind of just in the wilderness. It's been, depending on what you guys have been up to over these 4 months, might be the first time in a while that some of you have been like really away from civilization and out in the wilderness. As nightfall comes, kind of the decision is up to you whether or not, as before, you can continue on into the nighttime hours, at least for a bit before Henrietta will have to like take a rest, or you can stop and make camp for the night.
Do you want to camp?
Might as well.
Okay.
At least we don't have to worry about like things coming out of trees.
Nope, not much in the way of trees out here. You can pretty much see for miles in every direction.
Do you have to worry about things coming out of the ground?
Yes.
Good to know.
So, you guys want to set up watches for me through the evening? Alar, remember, you have Alar with you. You can take one as well.
Alar should probably take the mid shifts. I think he can trance.
He can trance.
And so, like,
I'll take second.
Like the deepest part of the night, I would prefer something that has daylight, so I'm actually useful.
I'll take first.
Do people trust me to take my own watch?
No.
You know what? I'll take watch with Fidget.
Okay, so you're taking first watch, you're taking second.
Yeah.
Alar will take third, and then you two guys will take like the last watch from like sort of the pre-dawn until time to get moving. Okay. All right, go ahead and everybody can roll a perception checks during the night. I'll roll one for Alar.
Okay. You said perception?
Yep.
Nat 20. No modifier.
Okay. It's 18.
Unless you're gonna give me a 1.
I don't know that I want to do that frequently. I also have a 20.
Okay. I like the idea of using your portent to like mess up his perception.
So, when I introduced myself saying, "Has your gnome died?" I was very sure that she was going to punch me, and I was going to make sure that she was successful.
What team, by the way?
Okay. And I got an 18. So you guys pull off to the side of the trail that you have been finding. You make camp. Burn a campfire. You kind of collect. Easy enough to collect some of the sort of short prairie trees, dried wood. Doesn't look like the rainy season has fully kicked off yet here. So there's a lot of like dry wood and stuff on the ground that you're able to find. And Brahm, you had first watch, right? Okay. Oops. All right. So Brahm, your watch passes pretty quietly. You're able to see a good distance all around. The landscape is very flat. The ring light from up above kind of casts the entire landscape in this sort of monochrome, silvery bluish color. At least in the beginning, a little bit. You know, there's maybe some period of like looking the sort of the long shadows cast by a lot of the flora in this area. Gives you a little bit of pause, but really nothing of note happens. You wake Nula up as Brahm retires to his tent, and you set up your watch. Anything? I should actually ask you. Anything you guys want to do during your watches? There's certainly a little period of a couple of hours downtime to do something if you want.
I guess I would. I have no idea because I rolled a 7.
That's just to see if you see like the bandits coming to kill you. There's no bandits coming to kill you.
You don't. They're dead. You're dead.
That doesn't prohibit you from doing something if you want to. Do you have Kel's pack with you, by the way?
I think I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious.
I would probably go through parts of his pack.
Okay, that's fine. Probably something I would assume you have done numerous times before this, so you know kind
a lot of pairs of socks in
kind of the standard things that are in there. The books that he was collecting, he has a good number of those children's books that he kept buying, as well as a few others. He has his
rock collection.
I don't think we ever canon established that Kel had a rock collection.
Oh, I thought we did.
Not after we started switching.
Yeah, not the original or the actual stream campaign. What he does have is his pizza party punch card assigned to somebody else. He has the paints that you know. He's
got a letter to Zelagot Dargans.
Yeah, Zelagot Dargans' pizza party punch card is in there. Kind of the two things that you keep coming back to as you go through his stuff and kind of look over his things is something that you know he had from even before he met any of you guys, which is a kind of an ornate looking dagger in its own little scabbard. With the end of it is like the metal has been worked to look like almost like the head of a dragon, as well as that scale, that green scale with the single brown spot where Dimios and Colin determined that this was a wyvern scale that had been dyed green. And much like Kel had discovered, so if you've been like playing with his stuff for a couple months, you know that like when you bring them close to each other, like almost in contact with each other, the scale gets a little warm in your hand. That's all it ever has seemed to do. But it is something you probably saw Kel do a couple of times, like experimenting. And these two items are in his pack, and I would assume like Fidget is heavily breathing somewhere nearby anytime you have taken these out in the last couple of months. But your watch passes uneventfully as well. The night is quiet. The air is comfortably a little cooler once the sun went down, but a comfortable temperature as like the height of spring really rolls closer. And nothing of note happens as it comes time for you to wake up Alar.
You're able to do so. He gets up for his watch.
I probably went through the kids' books.
Okay. There are. He had a couple of dozen of them, I think. There are a couple you might recognize from your time in Bolus Trolleyweather's house, where you and Kel found yourself in a storybook. It was the tale of the brother and sister that went on that kind of quest. Kel actually has the book containing that story, which plays out on the page of that book exactly as it was like psychically projected to you guys when you were at the Trolleyweather estate. At the end of his watch, the rings are sort of fading to their daytime kind of pale white against the sky as the sky turns gray as the sun begins to come up. Alar wakes the two of you guys for the final watch for the last few hours before dawn, and then heads off to his tent to rest for a little while longer. With your double natural 20s, nothing nefarious happens during your watch. You do begin to kind of see and hear as the sun slowly starts to creep up and the air temperature rises a little bit. What at first glance looks like a very you would almost say like a desolate landscape. It's very flat. There's not a lot of tall plant life or anything like that. It actually seems to be quite alive. Lots of lizards and small mammals scurry through the grasses and over the rocky terrain, in and out of holes and burrows and things like that. As the sun comes up, there are a number of these lizards and snakes and things kind of come up and perch themselves on rocks to begin sunning themselves. And before much longer, the sun is up in the sky. Everybody else kind of starts waking up. And you have a day ahead of you to begin your travel.
Are you sure that Namara's blind?
I am.
She saw me raise my hand.
Alar goes. He's not here, but Alar is able to explain that. He tells you a little bit about the conversation that he had with her when he went with her to the to collect some spell components, and he tells you guys about this ability she told him about, where she can sort of like quote unquote see magic.
Are you
as
magic?
It like clings to people.
I'm magic.
Alar does not correct your assertion. He says it's not necessarily like true sight, but she seems to be able to use it to get by in a minimal sense, which is how some of the like spookier instances of her being able to like know what's going on around her, even though she's apparently blind, can be explained.
Sort of like in the terrible Daredevil where you can see in the rain.
Yeah. Yeah, she's
plot twist, she's been...
Was that
Ben
Ben
Affleck?
Affleck?
Yeah, plot twist, she's been Ben Affleck the whole time.
Yeah, she's been Ben Affleck this entire time.
What a method actor.
A terrible movie. I guess as we're starting to go and ask Nula if I can see Kel's books to read over and see if he has any notes or anything that I can.
You'll give him back.
Of course.
Never mind.
And I'm worried about that vision I had. I want to see if I can backtrack anything that he found that maybe he didn't get around to telling us yet.
I will give him the books, and I have the pizza party punch card as like the bookmark in the.
Okay.
When you open the bag, I am going to try to climb into it.
Nope.
You can make a.
I'm definitely not going to succeed,
okay,
but I am sure going to try.
Testing checks.
No.
Yeah, I don't know if you have a list of like the titles of the books that he has or
anything. I have some.
Yeah, it's not important right this second. I just wanted to like write down.
I need all of them right now.
I do have a list of a few of the ones he had. They were essentially like golden books, more or less.
Pokey's little.
I'm just gonna be very confused as I'm like reading like cover to cover all these books as like traveling. It's like I don't understand what he was on to.
All right, so you guys are packing in camp and getting on your way. Alrighty, off you go. And
I spy with my little eye.
Are you in the cart or walking?
I'm walking.
go on.
No, I'm not gonna do it.
Is it in the bag?
You guys are traveling.
Is it in the bag?
Spies.
Nope.
You didn't tell us what you spied. You just said you spied
Oh,
something.
I spy something brown.
It's grass.
There is no grass.
The rock.
There's some grass. It's kind of scrubby grass.
It's dirt. It's all dirt.
How'd you know?
It's dirt.
There's like 4 things out here.
One of them I'm an expert at. It's mold earth.
Alright, fine.
Just tilling as we're driving, as like walking along.
I
Can we
spy.
spy something that's in the bag?
What do you want to know about the bag so badly?
I will know his secrets.
I imagine everybody's like, and then even Henrietta is like, little record scratch noise.
Look, his main secret was that he carried a lot of backup underwears, okay? Don't worry about it.
Why do you want to know his secrets?
I also a little bit want to know his secrets.
Yeah, but you knew him.
I saw his place in the fabric of destiny.
Am I the only one here who doesn't care about Kella's secrets?
He was your friend. You should care about his secrets.
They were clearly his secrets for a reason.
Secrets are no fun unless you share with everyone.
Alright, Rhymy McGillicuddy, shut up.
Right, I'm gonna dig
Ayla,
up.
and Alar is like, Nula, you're not, you have not helped your own case.
Point of order. Once you share with everyone, it is not in fact a secret anymore.
Well, it was a secret. It's still the statement of a secret.
By definition, it is not a secret anymore.
No, when you use a spell scroll and it burns to dust, it's no longer a spell scroll. It has been used.
I think I would rather talk to the dwarf about mayonnaise than this conversation right now.
Yeah, how'd that go?
It didn't.
Oh, jeez.
Well, why did he want the mayonnaise?
I don't know.
Somehow we're back to the secrets
I don't
conversation.
want to know.
This sounds like a secret.
All I know is when I was closing the door, he was taking his shirt off. So.
Maybe he was using a suntan lotion.
In the attic?
Yeah, the man never leaves the house.
Don't they have Skyrim?
Reeks of sulfur and sadness up there.
And mayonnaise.
Now it is. Probably.
How much mayonnaise did you give him?
1 gallon.
Doesn't the jug make 2?
Yeah, it's part of the bargaining.
Do we have any mayonnaise for sandwiches?
Yeah.
Do we have
Well,
other materials
How
for
many?
sandwiches?
We have 2 gallons, right?
It's
Because
been,
we played.
it's been a day, so
Yeah.
it's like reset.
It's been a day. We got a
You
full
can
2
make-
gallons.
You can make 2 gallons again.
Unless you want to make something else.
Do we need it?
No, I guess mayonnaise is fine.
Do we need the mayonnaise?
Oh, I thought we were making sandwiches!
It's like 10 a.m.
Well, we haven't had breakfast yet.
You eat mayonnaise for breakfast?
So does he eat a sandwich for breakfast?
How many times could I mold earth in a row where I like just bury myself in the ground?
I was like, I'd bring this in, but I'm interested to see where this sandwich
Just
discussion
I'm this
goes.
close to dimension during just away from this conversation.
So you guys spend the morning on the trail, guiding Henrietta in the cart, discussing secrets and Kel and mayonnaise and sandwiches.
And I spy.
And I spy, in which the answer is always, for some reason, dirt. And the landscape rolls past you. You eventually begin to diverge from the river as it heads off further south, and you kind of continue heading a southeasternly orientation. And by about midday, after you are thoroughly out of talking points involving mayonnaise to discuss, you actually come up on a small cluster of homes. So it is about midday at this point. You guys have been traveling for like 4, maybe 5 hours. And there are, you can tell the area kind of around these homes is maintained as farmland. You can see there are a number of freshly tilled fields. There are about 5 houses in this little kind of cluster here. Doesn't even, it's not even what you would consider like a village or a town. It's just like a few dwellings. And as you guys are kind of passing on the single trail that leads through this little gathering of towns, or a gathering of homes, you see a number of people coming in from the fields, ostensibly for like maybe their midday meal. And as you guys are riding through, one of them kind of like raises up a hand and kind of waves, and he calls out to you. He hails you, "Oi, travelers!" And he moves over to the side of the road and kind of waits to see if you guys will come over to him.
Hello.
He says, "Oh, it's been a while since we've had any travelers come through here. Where you bound? Where you from? Where you headed?"
We are going to Ruth Mall.
"Nope, you're not. I just met you, but I know that's wrong."
Who are you?
We are going to Wolfsmall.
"Wolfsmall." He says, "What you want to head to Wolfsmall for?"
Stuff.
Meeting people there.
We are traveling condiment salesmen.
"I see. This is a thing that's going to take the next 15 minutes. All right, tell me more."
We're all out of everything except for mayonnaise.
"Just in luck. Everyone in this town loves mayonnaise."
Good. They willing to pay through the ass for it?
He says, "Actually,
I guess I meant out the ass, not through the ass.
I mean, yes.
Pay through the ass.
I don't know how long you've been travelling for, but we're all headed in for the midday break, and I'd gladly break bread with you and share my table if you're willing to trade a bit of hospitality for a good meal." And he says,
Mayonnaise?
"Apparently you've got more than enough mayonnaise. I've got
Depends. You got any dwarves here?
No, just nothing but humans here."
Okay.
He says, "But we don't get travellers all that often through here. So whenever we do, we always like to get the latest news from up that a ways. So if you don't mind sharing a meal, I'd gladly show you some hospitality in exchange for a wee bit of news that you might bring."
Oh, does this guy seem at all suspicious to me?
No.
He's not wearing pants.
Yeah, I should have pointed that out. He is naked from the waist down.
He's wearing pants made out of mayonnaise.
He has a staff with like 14 skulls on it that he's just been rattling this whole time.
Yeah, that seems trustworthy.
No, he seems like a
Random villager.
just a guy, and he's interested in extending the rule of hospitality to a set of travelers in exchange for gossip, essentially.
Right.
This is, "Oh, come on, I'm just up here." He says, "So you're headed off to Wolfmall, eh? You coming from out up in Old there? Not much else down that trail."
Yep, that's the one.
"Yeah, you got any news from the city?"
No, we do not.
Still standing.
Well, that's good to know, I suppose.
We weren't there that long.
We're in for
Just
about
kind
12
of-
seconds.
Yeah. We came in the transportation circle.
"Oh, you're from elsewhere." And as you guys kind of hitch Henrietta in the wagon up outside his house, and And he opens the door. He says, Marjorie! We've got some travellers here. Come to share a bit of lunch with us. Tell us about things going on further into the kingdom. And a woman comes kind of bustling from another room. She says, oh, isn't that nice? She says, oh, it must have been, what was it? 2 months? 3 months? Group of troubadours, wasn't it, Jim? Says, oh, well, yep, that must be the last group that came through here. Oh, we haven't heard anything from further into the kingdom since then. He says, well, come, sit. He says, this is my wife, Marjorie. He says, I'm Jeb, as you heard. And he busies himself pulling up a table. He says, I think we've got a bit of ale here still, and we just baked up a couple fresh loaves of bread this morning. And the two of them go about setting out a pretty kind of simple farmer's meal consisting of bread and like some hard cheeses and dried like sausages and stuff, which they serve out to you and take portions for themselves as they sit down. And so Jeb says, "So you said you came through the portal. Mm-hmm. Where was you from before you came through to Old, if I might ask?"
We were from...
Oh, I know you know this one. You've been to that city for like 6 months. You can do it. I believe in you. Yep, there's a picture of it there.
Wow, you drew a whole detailed map of it, but you don't know what it's called.
Capital of the kingdom, real important city.
Well, there were these 2 cards there.
Go on.
Gregory and Elrond, and...
No, that's not right either.
Eldon.
quick, zone of truth yourself.
Does Zone of Truth work if you can't remember the information?
The city's name is Invarian. The guards' names who are in the campaign for you, I might add,
Gregory and Eldon.
are Gregory and Eldon.
Yeah.
Gregory and Edward.
I got 1.
You did get 1. So you're from Invarian. So, what news from the capital? What's been going on there as of late?
Member of Parliament died.
Rightly so.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame. Is it? Some of them are pretty old. Was it just passed, or was it something more interesting?
It was a suicide.
And you kind of like, oh dear. They sort of like, his wife like goes over and like touches a dry herb that's over the doorway. She's like, ooh, protect us from dark spirits. And she comes and sits back down. He says, suicide, you say? That's dreadful.
Malicious looking. Like,
Just watching Miller prepare himself.
He says, oh, I don't know what, have they replaced him yet?
I don't think so.
he left behind a daughter. Very sad.
I said, oh, it's a shame, you hate to hear it. He says, I can't remember the last time a member of Parliament passed.
Has it been that long? If they're all old.
He says, yeah, they tend to hang on for quite some time. There's not a lot of turnover.
Like 50 years, or?
Can't be that long. Must have been, what was it? It was one of the old birds, right? Wasn't it Marge? He says, oh, I think so. Yeah. Catter's Wall, something like that. She was ancient though. Yeah, that must have been nearly 10 years ago. Oh, yeah, I think that's the last time I remember a member of Parliament passing.
Oh. Do you remember how she passed?
As far as I heard, she just got real old and croaked.
Who replaced her?
He says, "Oh, I'm not sure on that one. We're pretty isolated out here. We only get a little bit of news every now and again."
Are we still in Mifflin?
Oh, yeah, for now. He's kind of pointing. This is about as south as it gets in Mifflin Day. You keep heading southeast the way you've been going. The only thing between you and Honorand is
Gators.
Gators. And not far off actually. There ain't much south of here except for monsters, and you go far enough south, a bunch of barbarians. But for now, still in Mifflin Day. Igni and Bolter's not all that far.
You heard any news over the border?
This is nothing recently. He says, Mifflin Day patrol came through here. Bunch of home guards. Must have been 6 days ago. It's something like that. He says, this far out from any of the cities still to the borders, it's the roads aren't kept as quite as patrolled as they are further in towards the capital. But patrol of home guards comes through. There's a garrison outpost. I don't know, half a day's travel north of here. Group of home guard patrol this area every 10 days or so. Oh, they headed out past here. Yeah, I think it was 5-6 days ago. If you're headed on towards Wolfmore, you're likely to cross paths with them as they're on their way back towards their outpost.
Cool.
Decent lot of men. Nice enough. Never gave us no trouble.
What do you grow out here?
Wheat mostly, a bit of barley. We get a decent price for it, shipping upriver back towards the capital. Gets us through the winters. There's actually we're tilling the fields now, getting ready to sow our crops for the years.
Isn't it spring?
Yeah, it's like planting time.
Oh, it's planting. I thought he said it was harvest.
So he's sowing their crops.
Oh, okay.
You guys have a meal. Yep. You guys have a meal.
Is it just the two of them, or is the rest?
No,
of
there's
the houses?
there's a couple of other houses. It's just the two of them here. There's some other folk kind of around.
I'll ask about the neighbors.
So we get on well enough. He says, a couple next door, Stevens and his wife, their boy, Stevens. Boy, that really is my go-to name, huh? He and his wife, said they sent their...
It was his wife, Stephen.
That's his wife, yep, Stevens and his wife.
Stephanie Stevens.
Yeah. Sent their boy little Stevie. Last fall, he married off and moved out near Lake Turnier. Or as I hear, they're a happy couple out there.
I think we were just up Lake Turnier.
You're in the vicinity. Then you finish your meal and he sort of gets up and he says, "Well, crops ain't gonna plant themselves. I'll see you back to your wagon. I appreciate the opportunity for some news. And if you're travelling back this way, I'd be more than happy to extend the same to you again on your way back."
Thank you so much.
Kind of nods and sees you guys off, and you're able to horse it up and mosey on down the road. I think...
Great news. We didn't have to waste any of our mayonnaise on our free food. We get a bonus meal out of our rations.
We get on the road again. I go, I spy with my little eye something brown.
Is it the back of your eyelids?
That's not brown. That's black. It's dark.
Sure? I'm not sure you're sure.
I think it is.
This I
Good
Spy
hard
just
luck.
like fades into the distance as the group moves away from the camera. And you guys are able to set out again. And about another 2 days of traveling pass. We see a sort of a montage of the lone caravan traveling over the landscape, the sound of Nula's eye spying in the distance.
I mix it up there. Sometimes it's the cart, sometimes it's the weeds.
How many days travel?
Well, by the end of day 4...
By the end of day 3, I'm casting blindness on myself. Every time she starts to say "I spy."
By the
So
end
that
of
means
sort
you
of
still
towards the end of day 4, you guys are like maybe sort of like shaken out of your reverie as Nula gives a quite enthusiastic "I spy something brown." And you guys are like dirt, and Nula's like, "No, look!" And out over the on the horizon, you see that you're now delving as you have really reached further and further south. You started to move a little bit out of these like kind of grasslandy plains into a little bit of an area that has a bit more topography. There's some kind of hilly areas, and you start to see some like gorges out ahead. And the thing that Nula spies with her little eye that is brown is a herd of elk, maybe a mile off from where you guys are, kind of just in the distance. There appears to be maybe 30 of them.
Can I have one?
Maybe.
Are you hungry?
I don't
How
want to
fast
eat
do you-
it.
How are you going to bring it with us?
I mean,
Can't we
have
just
a
attach it
bag
where
of holding.
Henrietta is? And it'll walk?
Are you
Living things can't survive in a bag of holding.
That is not what I'm saying.
And as you guys are kind of looking out at these elk as you're making your way, as they're off in the distance, the group of them all simultaneously lift up their heads and look not towards you, but like look at something a little further into this kind of gorge that they're near. And then as one group, they like bolt, and they start running sort of horizontal with where you're going. So you're kind of headed this way. They're out over here, and they've started to head like over this way. And you can even from this distance, you kind of hear the sort of like thunderous rumble of all these hooves. And out from a grouping of scrubby trees and like piles of rocks in a gap between these gorge, a large figure kind of emerges, like appears to be from the distance you would guess maybe 15 feet tall, sort of grayish, slightly greenish skin. He's very like lumpy, vaguely humanoid shaped, but very like lumpy and ill proportioned. He doesn't have much of a neck. He just sort of has this like dumpy potato on top of his shoulders of a head. He's wearing you see a loincloth kind of covering his junk, and he has a big like club which he's like dragging behind him in one hand. It is an ogre.
That is definitely not feather on the wind. We are a
Are
mile.
you sure?
I mean,
You do know the feather on the wind is a tabaxi.
I have
That's
never
another
seen a
thing.
tabaxi that I'm aware of. I don't know for sure.
They said cat person. It's real.
That's maybe not a cat.
I've never met a cat.
You might have eaten one.
Well, if I might have eaten one, then it's probably not that.
Okay. Do you want to? It's a mile away.
Doesn't seem to take note of you guys at all. You see as you kind of look, he's chasing the elk. They're kind of going away from you. Unless you want to involve yourselves, you don't think there's any chance that like these elk or this ogre chasing them is going to like bother you.
Will the elk survive?
Yes.
Yeah, they look pretty capable of getting away from
Did he
you.
find the way back?
But that does raise a good point. That there is a possibly giant monsters in this area that we have to deal with. So do you want to like like slow our pace down and go a little bit slower so we can maybe not get caught off guard or alert things in the distance?
Or do we want to go faster and spend less time with monsters?
That is also a possibility.
I like that one.
Alright.
Okay.
Alright, quick pace.
Can I cast haste on Henrietta? I do not have haste, I'm sorry.
Alright,
But if I
cool. So yeah, you guys can definitely do that. Move a little bit faster.
I'm going to
Go ahead and you guys can make me some perception checks at disadvantage as you quicken your pace over the next day of travel.
Red is not great.
9.
Okay.
I rolled 2 19s.
Nice.
So that is a 21.
Nice.
10.
I got a 2 and a 3.
All right. I should roll for Aylar. I'm not gonna roll for Aylar.
So I just rolled 2 perception checks. One was a 2 at the lesser number, and one was a 3 at the lesser number.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Okay, so you guys quicken your pace. After about another day goes by after you had seen the ogre chasing elk around, off in the distance, a structure begins to rise up over the horizon. And after a couple of hours getting closer to it, you can see that it is a windmill. Or rather, it was a windmill, as you can tell as you sort of get within range of it, that it is clearly defunct. Only 2 of the original 4 blades of this windmill are still intact. The wooden structure itself, you see, is rotting away and coming apart in places, and it definitely looks like it has been abandoned for at least multiple years. Fidget, despite the fact that you guys are kind of rattling along in your cart, you hear, thus giving you time to raise the alarm should you choose before this happens. From high up ahead, up above, you hear a loud screeching caw, kind of and following that noise, several large shapes emerge from that windmill off in the distance, and you look up towards the source of that screech, and something has just like an arrow shot down from a little bit of cloud cover up ahead and is hurtling towards your guys' cart.
Bird!
Alright.
And I'm going to try to duck under Nula's shield.
Okay.
Just pull it over my
Let's
head.
blast that thing.
So I guess look up and see what he's talking about.
Yeah, you guys can make a nature check as you do this. And then in a second we'll roll initiative. We'll do that over. We'll take our break in a second here, and we'll roll initiative while we're on break.
17.
Alrighty.
6.
Okay.
13.
Okay.
I got a bonus to here. It doesn't matter. I got a 10.
Aylar doesn't do so great. 13, Mila?
She had 17, I had 13.
Oh, 17, 13. Okay.
10.
Everybody, 10 or above. So anybody who didn't get a 10, which is Aylar, and you. So for the 10s and above, what you see dive bomb at you. It is bigger than Henrietta by about half. A long, hooked beak and a feathered head resembling an eagle, as well as a pair of massive, predatory raptor claws, essentially, extended towards you in this dive. It has these huge wings, which are currently snapped flat against its body as it's in a dive bomb. And you just see sort of from the back of it, as it's a little hard to tell as it's diving straight at you, but what you see from the back of it is flicking through the air, almost sort of course correcting itself, is what looks like a feline tail. It is a griffin.
I will immediately try to
Poop yourself.
I'm gonna jump on to Henrietta.
Okay.
From the car.
Sure. So, I think what we'll do is we'll take our break right here. It's about 8:45. We'll give everybody a chance to go to the bathroom, whatever. We'll roll initiative while we're off camera, and then we will get ready to our combat with the Griffins when we return. So stick with us. We'll be back in about 5 minutes, and party gonna fight some monsters. Alrighty.
Or we can be friends.
Well, maybe.
I doubt it.
I'll cast Animal Friendship / Eldritch Blast.
Alrighty. Hey, we're back. I forgot to unmute us. We're here. Alar walked in. We're now
Thank
fighting,
you.
Thank you, chat. We are fighting.
We thought he was
some
a serial
griffins.
killer.
We thought he was a serial killer. He arrived, and we're fighting some griffins. That's what's happening.
Sorry, I thought I'd make it in my break. We appreciate you, the Misty Portal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brum, you're up.
Question:
Yes.
Can I
Doesn't
minor?
have any metal on it.
No. That's not what it says. Can I minor illusion a creature?
I believe so, but it can only be a certain size.
I think it's small or medium.
Can it be even medium? I thought it was only like a certain volume. Minor illusion's a cantrip, right?
Yeah.
What are you trying to minor illusion?
I'm trying to minor illusion Henrietta.
No, that's probably you need the level of spell that Alar used, which was
Major illusion would be
Silent image, which is
Silent
first.
image.
silent image, which is doesn't make any noise, but it's a beefier spell.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. To try and turn it into a shrub. But then in that case, I will minor illusion a wall of fire in front of her.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not even gonna make the roll. They both the griffin and the horse panic from the minor illusion of the fire appearing. So we'll see what she does on her turn. Walter,
He's on a panicking horse.
perfectly silent wall of fire appears in front of Brom, or in front of Henrietta, in front of you.
Heels down.
I was gonna say it's past my turn. I was gonna try and do something else.
Do you want to do it? Because I have a dumb thing I'm about to do, and
Because that was a. But did that count as my action?
Yeah, kind of.
All right, never mind. I was gonna try and unhitch the cart from Henrietta, but I already used my action.
That'd take another action.
all right. Out of character poll. The stupid decision or the stupider decision?
Always go stupider.
I'm gonna cast blind on the horse and the griffin.
Okay.
Why the griffin? We want the
Why
griffin.
the horse?
The horse, I understand. We don't want the griffin blind.
They both have to make a con save. How many targets can I hit this thing?
What was the other
Hopefully
I
two.
get 3. I get 3 targets.
Henrietta rolls a 15.
I
don't know what your
con
spell
save
is.
is 14.
Okay, so Henrietta succeeds.
Okay, good.
It's a con save, so
Yes, she has a +1.
Well,
She
we
rolled
didn't want her. We wanted her to not see the fire.
And the griffin rolls a 6. So he gets a 9. So the griffin fails.
all right. Well, Griffin is now blind and has to make a Constitution save on the throws, and I will do nothing because action economy is terrible and you don't have bonus actions to do.
Alrighty. So
Oh
you
wait,
see-
nope, that's a spell. I can't do it.
Alright. So the griffin lets out this sort of confused, and starts sort of lashing back and forth as it can no longer see. And Henrietta is going to attempt to bolt. However, she is still attached to the cart, thus essentially manages to buck upright, flail, and knock herself over and falls down on the ground. In a tangle of harness and hitching.
Walter is crushed.
I was on the I was on the horse.
Luckily, as you guys are beside her, the all of the hitching for the wagon keeps her from going sideways. She basically manages just to crumble in on herself.
Okay.
The cart kept her from being able to get anywhere. So, thankfully, you guys are not crushed by a horse going around into combat. And Fidget, you're up.
I'm going to hold an action for when the other griffins show up.
Okay. Top of the order, Griffins. So those ones keep coming. So we'll say their second round of dashing here puts them within range to like dive down on you guys in their next turn. That griffin is just going to basically blind swipe at whatever is like near it. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 people are in range, I think.
There's a horse.
5.
There's a horse, 3 people, and
an
an illusion that it technically can't see anymore, but might still think
knows
it's
it's
still there.
Alrighty, so it's going to make 2 attacks. The first one, it lashes out with its beak, Walter, in your direction.
Great.
It's going to make its attack at disadvantage. The first roll is a 7.
That misses.
It's like 13, technically.
Well, it's misses.
And the second roll was a 12. So it kind of just like snaps in your direction blindly, and then it takes a wild slash with one of its claws, also at Walter. So with disadvantage, that's a 23, and then the lower of the two, a 20. So it will hit you once with its second attack.
Yeah.
It manages to just graze you with one of its front claws. Ooh. You take 12 piercing damage.
All right, I am on death saving throws.
What?
I'm kidding.
I feel like
12.
Oh no, it's slashing. Okay, no, hang on. I rolled the beak damage instead of the.
I can make people fail death saving throws.
You can. 11 slashing damage.
All right, so I will gain 1 HP.
Yes.
What is your
gain
current
1
HP?
It's still double digits.
All right, that's the Griffin's turn. Alar, you're up again. So these other 3 have are flying in this like attack pattern, and the one on the ground in front of you is like just freaking out.
Yeah. Can't do anything about those 3. Gonna do something about the one in front of me, so I will sneak attack it. So that's a 14, and since it's at disadvantage, I roll an advantage, so that's a 20, not natural.
Yup.
Gas and booming blade. And apologies, I only have 1 dice set with me, so.
Sure.
I have a literal
Alright.
pile of dice here.
6, 10, 16, plus 5. 21 points altogether.
Okay.
When it's blind, do attacks against it have advantage?
Yes.
Gotcha. Oh, you just get free sneak attacks.
Yes.
Yes, you do. Alrighty. So you stab into it, and it like reels away. And you can tell like didn't see you coming at all. So all of a sudden it's like pierced and backs up.
I'm gonna start yelling in its direction and move me. Actually, I will bonus action disengage. Move me about 15 feet toward you. Yeah. And I'm yelling and I'm screaming at it, trying to get its attention.
Alrighty.
At the end of its turn, it was able to make a con save.
It failed again.
Okay.
Okay.
I thought I wanted to fail.
Newly, you are up.
Can I hold my action for when one of the griffins becomes
Sure.
within striking distance?
So you basically batter up as
Yep.
these griffins come towards you guys.
Yep.
Alrighty, Brom, you're up.
I should be able to get right up to that griffin, right?
Yep. Easily.
Alright, I'm gonna do that.
Right, so Brom hops off the edge of the cart, circles around. Alar there, or Walter there, right? That's Walter?
That's Walter.
Walter.
I'm going to touch the griffin
You touch the griffin.
and bestow curse.
Dun dun dun!
I'm gonna use the
Does it make a save, or is it just happen?
I have a bunch of options I can choose as to what curse.
Okay.
I think.
Well, I rolled a 2 on this dice,
Okay,
so
so it
whatever
definitely
it is, it's going to fail.
So I'm gonna go with the one where on its turn, it has to make a wisdom saving throw,
Okay.
and if it fails, it wastes its action doing nothing.
Cool. Okay. All right.
Getting bullied the hell out of these griffins.
Especially that
Hang
one.
on it.
We're the real monsters.
The other 3 haven't gotten to you yet.
Yeah,
It's
the-
going to
I
get
can-
real ugly in a second.
This is the
Okay.
list of things I can do.
So Brom, you do that. You slap a hand onto one of the lion haunches of this griffin.
Slap it right on the ass. Bestow a curse on it.
A little heart pops up.
And that's your turn, which brings us up to Walter again.
All right, I'm gonna get on the other side of Henrietta, probably using all of my movement because it's probably difficult terrain.
Difficult terrain, but that's still only like cost you like 15 feet.
Basically, I'm getting in position so when these three things land, if they land close together, I'm going to cast blindness on all three of them.
Okay.
So I'm holding my action to cast blindness as soon as I land.
Sure, no problem. Alrighty, Henrietta is gonna use her action to stand up, and is essentially attempting to like back away, but is just sort of like bumping up against her own like the bit and the bridle and the harness and all the stuff that's got her. So that the cart that you guys are in is like kind of, or I guess it's just fidget at this point. The cart is like rattling all over the place, but she doesn't manage to do much more. She's still latched up to that at this point, and doesn't want to go forward. Alrighty, and it is your turn, Fidget.
So Fidget has been digging around in his bag, in his bindle, and comes out with a coin.
Alright.
He is going to cast Jim's glowing coin.
Nice.
And throw it at these guys.
Okay.
So they get to make a wisdom save. And if they fail, they are distracted.
There's no, like, intelligence stipulation on that, is there?
There is not.
Cool. Alright.
You're just throwing a shiny
It's a shiny thing.
Yeah.
One of them... intelligence.
Wisdom.
Oh, wisdom. Should have let me use intelligence. One of them gets a 21, one of them gets a 19, and the other one gets a 7.
Well, 7's not good enough.
7 is not good enough.
So that one's distracted.
Okay. Alright, so we'll say the
wyvern.
the one that looks like a dragon can be
Saw a shiny thing. It's distracted for a minute.
yeah, and it is their turn. So, what happens at this point now that it's the dragon's turn? So Fidget, you pop up from the back of the cart and you like hold up this glowing coin, which you just huck. Which way are you throwing it?
This way.
That way. Okay. So you throw this coin, and one of the griffins immediately is like, and just diverts its path. Go ahead and set that griffin down over near the coin, further away from the cart because he chased you. So he lands over there, and is like scrabbling in the dirt for this shiny that just got hucked. Good, that's good pantomiming. The other two, the stump guy there, he's actually going to land in the back of the cart.
I wasn't sure if it was a covered cart or if it was a...
specifically, I think you guys purchased an open cart because it was less expensive when you bought this.
That sounds right.
And the hook horror one there is going to land in front of Nuala and Walter there. So if you guys have held actions, you can set them off.
It's only going to be able to affect these two,
okay.
But I'm going to use my third target to be Henrietta.
Okay.
She is within range.
Alrighty, so this is what kind of save?
Con save, DC 14.
I don't believe you
one
get to attack
griffin
more than once
saves.
because they held action.
Both griffins save. What's Henrietta's con?
She has a +1.
I think she has a +1. I believe Henrietta fails. Yes, Henrietta fails.
Alright, she's blind.
So Henrietta goes blind and calms a little bit. She can no longer see the fire and the ogre and the griffins.
Well, the fire's not there anymore, right?
Oh yeah.
Because it would have gone away when I had to concentrate on the other spell.
Was it a concentration spell, that curse?
Yes.
Okay, then yeah, the fire's gone.
I rolled 24 to hit.
That hits.
And 11 damage.
Okie dokie.
And I think I only get to hit once.
Yes, because it's a held action. I think.
I think that's true.
So she has attacks per action?
Yeah, so you actually do get to attack twice.
Yeah, it's not like the monk.
12?
12?
I'm going to give you a 15 instead of that 5.
Okay. So that's 22 to hit.
That hits.
And that was 5 damage.
So 16
That
total.
was not worth it. Roll better.
Alicia on a secret, she was going to hit the first time anyway.
Well.
Alrighty. You did blindness. You slapped a griffin with a hammer, and now they're gonna do their stuff. So the one that you guys have been real messing with is it'll make its wisdom save, right? Wisdom.
It's a wisdom save at the beginning of its turn.
It rolls a 2. It does nothing.
Yep.
And at the end of its turn, it gets to roll a con save, so
I'll
it
just
can
roll that
decide
now.
not to be blind.
It does unblind itself,
Okay.
but it doesn't do anything else. The other griffin there is going to make a beak attack against Nula and a claw attack against Walter.
Not the orc.
No, because it landed at you guys.
Okay.
It's going to miss you with its beak. And against what? It's going to miss Walter.
Nothing.
Never mind.
Protection.
No, it rolled a 2 and a 1. So it just it hits the ground, and it's swing, which you guys back out of the way. Meanwhile, on the back of the cart, this one is
Everything is fine.
I put her on the thing. Is Morgan in the cart right now?
She's in a pocket
Oh,
dimension.
she's in the pocket dimension. All right. So against Fidget, what's your AC?
12.
12. Well, it misses with its beak.
What?
Luckily for you. And an 8. It does hit with its claw. For 11 points of slashing damage. I rolled it into the crevice the first time I had to roll it.
Let's roll a couple d8s here.
No, it's only
Everything's
2d6.
fine.
So yeah, it hits you for 7 points of slashing damage. As it and swings at you, and the whole cart is rocking and creaking under this massive griffin's weight as it's just got its claws kind of all up on the sides. Its wings are flapping. Fidget, you're being buffeted back by it. And that's the griffin's turn. Alar, you are up.
I'm gonna use my bonus action, dash me up to the side of the cart. I can move 60, so I should be able to get there.
It's only 45 or 50 to get there, yeah.
And I'm gonna stab at that one.
Go for it.
Natural 20.
Nice.
And I guess you're a threatening creature?
It's definitely engaged.
Alright, so blade. Oh god, this one. That's a little better. And 5, 6, 9, 10, 16, 25, 30, 32.
32.
And I start screaming at that one
Okay.
to try and get its attention.
Alright, so you stab into that when it gives this and turns its head towards you. Which brings us to Nula.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yes. I will hit the one in front of me.
Already
twice.
rolled it.
That is 23.
Yep.
To hit, and the second attack is 24.
Both of those will hit.
So 5 for the first, 5 for the second.
Okay. 10 damage total as you continue to batter into this thing, and it's kind of buffeting you with its wings and swinging its front eagle claws at you as you're just batting at it with your hammer. And Baram, you are up.
Alright, I'm gonna take a stab at it.
Alright, it will hit.
11 plus 5, so 16.
Yeah, that hits.
And 3 points of piercing damage, but then I'm gonna do some psychic blades. Uh, 13 points of psychic damage on top of that. To the one in front of me.
Alrighty. So you stab your rapier into it. You kind of.
I'm gonna take a couple steps back.
And it will take an opportunity attack against you. Which
Is
misses.
it still blind?
Mhm.
No.
Oh.
Shook off the violence, that's right. It does miss. So you like stick your rapier in between you feel it's like slide in between a pair of ribs, right where like the feathered eagle portion merges with the lion back half, and it gives this like pretty pitiful like, and lashes one claw at you as you back away, but misses. And Walter, is your turn.
Alright, well, I am out of spell slots, so that can only mean one thing.
Soiling your trousers?
Time to melee it with a shovel.
Eldritch Blast!
Well, the problem is there's two really good options, and I don't know what to take, so I'm going to take the one that doesn't make any sense. I'm going to Eldritch Blast it in the face, which is a disadvantage because it's a range of spell attack. I'm going to use my greens for one, and my blues for another.
Okie dokie.
And... the blues, the lowest is a 17 plus 6.
Hits.
The greens, the lowest is a nat 1, so 7.
The 7 won't hit.
So I'm going to hit it with a d10 and push it back 10 feet.
Alrighty.
4 points of force damage and move it 10 feet that way.
Alright, so
Which I think should provoke an attack of
does not,
opportunity.
because it is not
Specifically
willingly
does not.
moving.
Okay, whatever. It's fine.
How much force damage, sorry?
4 points.
Okay.
Then I'm going to use my movement to go... back over here.
Alright.
I think that's...
Sure.
10, yeah.
Alright, so
It-
the
it-
griffin is like slid back, its claws gouge these huge rivets in the earth below you. Henrietta is blind and will do nothing currently. I guess she can repeat the saving throw, which she fails. Fidget, you got a griffin in your face.
Fidget is going to run this way around the griffin.
Okay.
And cast a 4th level lightning bolt.
Okay. So you basically, you guys kind of see Fidget like, and like scurries under the bottom of the cart. There's like griffin feet like smashing down around you. You're like, "Ugh!" You scurry between him, and all of a sudden the sky just opens up, and a lightning bolt comes down.
Our cart is gonna be screwed.
I mean,
Do you have
I can be still in the cart and line them up that way over top of it.
I mean,
Because like it's not coming from the sky down at the cart; it's coming from.
so you're like force lightning.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Sure.
Better.
So you
Do
just
they
like,
they dex save?
Yeah, they dex save.
yeah, there's like a 60-foot line or some nonsense.
One of them gets a 21. The other gets a 14.
14 will not save.
Okay. We'll say the one that just got shoved fails his dex save because he's a little off footing.
So it is 35 points of lightning damage,
Woo!
or half.
Okay, so the stump boy there takes 35.
I'm really glad I got out of the way.
And hook horror.
I got your back, Fit. Never mind, you got this.
And so, yeah, you guys hear like scuffling and a bindle like bobs across the level, and then there's like this blue illumination from beneath the cart, and a lightning bolt just streaks out from this cart, passing through both of these griffins. Oh, the other one took half, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so. The griffin in the cart here, kind of like sidesteps over the worst of it. You see it definitely like streaks along its underside, a bunch of feathers like singe off, and it goes beats its wings against the sides of the cart. This one, however, right as like it's being shoved by Walter's Eldritch Blast, it's like pushed back, and it starts to get its footing again, and the lightning bolt just slams into the side of it and goes, I don't know, probably like goes like this, and its skeleton appears, and it just falls to the ground in a heap, unmoving.
It is also plucked and perfectly cooked.
Yes, he now looks like a cartoon roast turkey.
Like cat legs.
All right, and that is Fidget's turn. So that brings us to the Griffins. How long is that guy distracted by this coin?
A minute.
Cool.
7 years.
10 rounds.
Same with that guy, that spell last.
Yeah, so he's going to save again, which he still fails. So that one will continue to do nothing. Cool.
Real
This
helpful
one
for me.
here in the cart is going to make 2 attacks against Fidget.
Yeah.
The first one is a 5 and 11, so that'll miss. And with the claw, that is a 14 plus stuff.
What if I give them an 8?
You can give them an 8. It will still hit you.
Okay. Well,
You roll a 5 and an 8 for
everyone
fortunes.
played hard.
It's fine.
Double ones on the damage dice. You take 6 points of slashing damage, and the griffin is going to launch itself up into the air. So both
Booming
Fidget
Blade
and
goes off.
Booming Blade will go off, and you guys get attack of opportunity if you want to take them.
So it takes 3 points.
Okay.
Thunder damage and 1 more sneak attack. Yeah.
How many feet in the air can it get up?
About 80.
Alright, well,
This D8 is
it's still getting under blasted.
To answer your question, not far enough.
Does a 3 hit?
Surprisingly, it does not.
What about that 8 he could have used earlier?
Well, that would have been a
Take
7.
17 points of damage. As
17.
You have this. You can't,
I have stab. I have my bindle.
oh, you're using your bindle. I'm sorry,
So
you don't have
this,
shillelagh.
this griffin, it launches itself off. The whole cart goes like on its axles. It gets up into the air. Alar, you manage to like swing up and you cut like right underneath it, opening a huge gash in its gut with your rapier. And it gets 2 flaps with its wings, gets about 30 feet in the air, and then from where you had stabbed it before, you guys hear this echoing like, and like a cannon shot had hit it in the side. The griffin just goes and is now falling towards 1, 2, 3, 4. That way. So it falls harmlessly on the other side of the cart, like over there, and just hits the ground. The ground shakes, the cart rattles, but it is no more.
As I'm probably covered in the blood from that.
Just like it feels like a raining griffin blood.
Yeah, it's like. Oh,
Do your goblin dance.
He's like,
I somewhat have regrets.
He's just not mayonnaise.
I believe, let's see, that was the griffin's turn, right? So that brings us to Alar. So there's a very dazed-looking griffin here being like ensorcelled by Brahm, and this one is still like rooting around in the ground for that coin that Fidget threw earlier.
I forgot about this one.
Immediate threat first, so move me toward the green guy.
They're both green.
Light green, sorry. And well, nobody's next to it, so crap.
Henrietta is.
The orc is.
It's not engaged with
It's not
Henry.
At this point, that spell, because I cast another one, it's gone. Yeah. So I'll just cast Booming Blade. 20. And
Okay, so I've read the effect of Jim's glowing coin, so I can see how to like. I'm like, he's not just gonna stand there and root around in that coin while everybody kills him, right? Got it.
Yes, he is.
He's not actually.
so
He probably shouldn't have even stayed over there that long.
9 points piercing, 3 points thunder damage, and I'm screaming at that one. Come on, over here!
You scream at a corpse of a griffin and
Oh.
drop that one.
Over here!
Shove Griffin off of you as it falls dead to the ground.
Made of water balloons filled with paint.
Nula, you're up.
This griffin was filled with mayonnaise.
Who knew?
Brom! This is totally your fault!
I'm gonna hold my action for if the last griffin comes back.
Alrighty. Brom, you're up. You got 3 dead griffins and one over there, which is like starting to kind of like swivel back to look.
Who's after me in the initiative?
I am.
Walter.
I'm gonna give Walter Bardic Inspiration.
Oh, dope.
And that's
What is the Bardic Inspiration die?
gives you as a bonus for 10 of the creature can add it to an ability check, attack roll, or saving throw.
What is the die though?
It's a 1d8.
So
Add
D8.
1d8.
How are you inspiring Walter?
Kill that bitch!
Alright,
Don't mess up.
inspiring.
All right.
Kill that bitch! I believe in you.
Riveting.
Somehow, you feel inspired by this.
It's the I believe in you part. Kill that bitch! I believe in you.
I feel the
It's
magic.
a rare word of praise.
I feel the magic, but not the inspiration. But it's fine. Double Eldritch Blast at this guy.
Alrighty.
Not the. We are going to use the inspiration on the 7.
Okay.
That's a 9. So it's a 15 to hit minimum.
Yep, both hit.
Dope. So it's a 5 and a 7. So 12 points of force damage, and it's rocketed 20 feet that way.
Alright, so it slides away, kind of like, snapping out of its obsession with this coin that got thrown. Henrietta does nothing. Fidget.
She has like 3 more turns on that.
Ray of Frost.
It's only 1 minute for that.
There's nothing scaring her into running, so she's just chilling. Rust.
12.
12 will hit.
We're gonna use Fury of the Small.
Okie dokie.
That is 18 points of cold damage. And its
Alrighty.
movement is reduced by 10 feet.
By 10 feet. Okay.
Nice.
Alrighty, and it is its turn. So at this point, it has been slammed around. It's chilly. Its broodmates lie slaughtered around this cart. So it kind of like plants both of its feet, and you see it like looking, and it gives one sort of almost like a warning, like, and kicks up into the air and begins to fly back towards the windmill. It cannot get there. It gets. It took them like 2 turns of sprinting to get to you guys from the windmill. So he will use a dash action. He's reduced by 10, so he can only go like 100 and, I don't know, 140 feet or whatever it is. 100.
Yeah, 140. If it's normal flying speed is 80 feet, then minus 10 is
100. So he can get about 150. So he goes about 150, like away from you guys and up. You just put him on one of those things there.
good thing I took Spell Sniper and the extended range so I can shoot it from a quarter mile
I
away.
think we can let it fly away.
Heading
I
towards
didn't take
the,
either of those things. So.
I scream back at it.
All right.
Okay.
Are you action to yell at a griffin? Nula, anything?
You're gonna at it to bring it back.
Tame it.
No.
I will check on Henrietta.
Henrietta is pretty like they're like clouded over with Walter's spell still. You can see her eyes are rolling and wide. She's clearly terrified, but she appears uninjured. You figure once you kind of calm her down, you should be able to get her moving again. No problem.
How was the cart?
Some of your supplies are like tossed all around. The cart's definitely got a bunch of like claw gouges into it, but it appears functional.
Brum.
Gives it character.
No. Walter.
I mean, I'm not gonna pursue it. I'm
Okay.
certainly gonna. I'm gonna watch and see where it lands.
Okay.
If it's just like flying back to that.
Is everybody just watching it, or is anybody gonna do anything before
I'm
we
watching it.
go here?
Yeah, I got nothing to target with, so I'm gonna check on Fidget.
Really, the question is Fidget and Walter. Are you guys
150
like?
feet away is too far.
Yeah,
okay.
I only have 120 foot range.
So basically, what happens is it flies back over to that windmill, and it you see it lands up on the roof, kind of scrabbles a little bit. A bunch of roof shingles are kicked off, and it comes to rest, just sort of clawed onto the top of this windmill, just watching you around these one of the intact blades. Feel pretty confident that you have driven it off and is not willing to engage you further.
So it's 300 or 400 feet away.
Yes, something like that. But it's just up there, keeping an eye on you to, see what you do essentially.
Well, we can run it to its den and prevent this scourge from attacking other people in the future, or let it go and then just move on. There may be things in its nest, which I assume that's what it is. It's up to you guys if you want to risk it.
Are they scavengers?
I don't
Do
remember.
they take things from people?
Certainly horses.
I like shiny things.
It ran away. Just let it have it.
It might have babies.
I was under the impression that we took no prisoners. And didn't let people get away.
That's mostly only the sentient things. We've certainly let a few owlbears wander off.
Yeah, it's usually dudes who mouth off to us.
I'm pulling out a rag and wiping the copious amount of blood off of my face.
Do you want a griffin baby or not?
Is there a griffin baby?
There's only one way to
There's
find out.
only one way to find out, and that's to murder this other griffin.
I bring out the handkerchief. Well, might as well get covered in more.
I don't
I wait for him to finish ringing that and then cast prestidigitation on myself to be clean.
But there's just there's dead silence for a second, and then just a slow turn and look.
The new goblin's a dick.
Huh?
I said you're a dick.
Say, could you?
Does he get a bargain inspiration?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Puts more of it on him.
It's more soiled. All right. Yeah. Are we running it down?
Thanks.
We're running it down.
I
Do you
don't
want-
like death, but
Okay.
I like
Either way
griffin
we
babies.
go.
Do you want to just stay with Henrietta to make sure nobody else steals our horse and
I'll
carriage?
put the other things in the cart.
You're putting the griffin corpses in the cart.
No,
You know what? Go
the
ahead.
packages that fell out.
Okay.
Didn't all the stuff fall out?
Not really.
All right. Well,
Maybe a little. It probably can reorganize a little. It did get trampled around on a little bit.
all right. Well, let's go do some illegal hunting.
Illegal?
Law's here.
I at this point,
You
I'm
should
just
know better
stalking
than to
towards
say the word illegal around the
windmill.
paladin.
Just come on.
All right.
All right,
So
we're
you
gonna
guys-
trudge over to
All right. So who's going and who's staying?
I'm going.
Okay,
I'm going.
So just Nula stays behind.
Yes.
Okay.
Bye.
So you guys head off. As you approach, it gives you what you interpret to be warning screeches from atop its perch. The top of the windmill where it's perched is about 40 feet up, and as you guys get closer, you get within 50 feet-ish of it, ready to roll, and it gives you a final warning and launches into the air towards you guys. So you guys can let's just use. You want to use same initiative, or do you want to
That's
reroll?
fine.
It's fine.
It is going to go first if we use the same initiative.
Okay.
We've made our choice.
Okay. So it is going to jump off of the top of this and fly towards you guys. So it's going to let's see. Oh, there's 4 of you. How convenient. I can use a D4. Elar.
Okay. Mark is 14.
Mark is 14. Okay, and it rolls a 16, and its strength is 4. It swoops down. The eagle claws come out, grab you around the torso, and it continues its dive skyward. So you guys watch as this thing dives off of the top of this tower, just grabs Alar, and the wings snap back out, and it catches the air, so it gets about 30 feet up in the air with Alar to complete its move there. But it's like behind you guys now with Alar.
Coming towards me.
I mean, sort of, but they're quite a distance away from you guys because they trudged over towards that windmill.
Hey, Alar, we're gonna go Ludus Nest now.
Alar, it's your turn! You are currently grappled by a griffin and 30 feet in the air.
Okay. Well, good news, since it's grappling me, I can sneak attack it.
You can.
13?
13 will hit.
Okay. Casting Booming Blade. Last great act of defiance. God, this D8 is terrible. So... 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So, it takes 18 points, and if it continues to move, which it's going to, because it's flying,
definitely will.
It'll take 2d8 more.
Okie dokie.
I have a plan.
That's never a good statement coming out of Brom.
That's when I start screaming. When I just faintly hear that I have a plan.
It has to die first, but I have a plan.
What?
Brom, it is your turn.
That's a confusing statement.
How's it looking?
Fairly roughed up. You guys
I
have done
don't
a
really
pretty
have
decent number on
anything ranged. And it's too dumb for most things. So I'm going to hold an action with the pretense of if Alar starts to fall.
Okay.
I have a plan.
Oh God.
Alrighty. Cool. Walter, you are up.
Hey.
It's a nat 20 and a 10.
Both. The 10 will not hit. The nat 20.
Okay, well, the nat 20 is a 4 and a 9. So 13 points of force damage, and it launches 10 feet further away.
Okay.
Which
That goes
triggers
10 feet higher.
Why are you like this?
Which should trigger the booming blade.
Nope,
no.
it does not.
Oh, okay.
It has to willingly move for
weird
these things to go off. Your pushes do not count.
Yeah, no. If I stab it with the booming blade, and then you move it, and then it comes back toward me, that's when it would go off.
Fidget, you are up.
Fidget is going to run after it, and then cast a 3rd level Mind Spike.
Okie dokie.
It can make a Wisdom save.
It gets a 18. Shockingly.
So it is going to take half of 20 points of...
It's not going to matter. It has about 3 hit points left. So what does Mind Spike look like in Fidget Land?
In Fidget Land?
Yes.
In Fidget Land, he's probably just like fussing with his little
Cape.
cloaky thing and just like he's got to be imagining that he's like pulling on the threads of fate that are tying him to this thing.
Okay.
Just like yanking on them awfully hard.
So from your guys' perspective, Fidget is running under this thing, and then you just kind of see his last glance up. There's just poof! This sort of air pressure bolt shoots up from Fidget, striking the griffin, which just goes and
mid-flap, its wings just go like... And it begins to fall. The grip of its claws lessens. And Alar, you begin to fall from 40 feet in the air, which will trigger your held action.
You're not gonna heat metal with Zapier.
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna say I have a plan to save Alar, but if somebody has a better one, do it. And I'm gonna try and get directly under him.
Okay. So you are 40 feet off the ground, which is enough that you will hit the ground this round. So down comes Alar. What is your plan entailing?
If he's coming right at me, I'm gonna wait to the last possible minute when he's within 5 feet and dimension door. And
Okay.
we're gonna casually just go to just land at the back of the cart, and I'm gonna use the golden D20 to do it.
Okay. I like it. I was definitely gonna make you make a check to try and like time it. The D20 is cool. You definitely catch him with Dimension Door. Here's the problem. Much like in the very popular game Portal,
He has the momentum.
his velocity does not change when he comes out the other side of the Dimension Door. So
That's why I went
Alar
like
is
a
rocketed at like 100 feet per second into the back of your cart.
cushioned part of it. It's better than the ground.
It is better than the ground.
Is it better?
I will reduce the damage.
I could have. I mean, yeah. See, the thing is, like, it would have been real funny if he went in, then I just angled it sideways, and he just launched like
That-
vertically.
That
Newell
actually
was
would have given me an
pulling her armor
acrobatic-
up, getting ready to lay on
check.
hands, and then sees this and just turns around.
You take 14 points of bludgeoning damage, as does the cart.
It's better than a splat.
14 points of cart damage.
Cart damage. So you like the ground is like rushing towards you like an old timey firefighter. Brahm is like, and right as the ground comes up to meet you, Brahm and like a black hole in time and space opens up, engulfing your vision. And the next thing you see is the side of the cart coming at you very fast. As you just
Yeah, I was
Into
aiming
it.
for like our soft bags of stuff in the cart.
yeah. So it reduces the damage a little bit.
Okay. So this is what everybody else sees. This is the side of the cart.
Woo! It worked.
I imagine it sounded something like this.
Yeah, from farther. The second part was
It's
farther
a little
away.
further away. Hits the cart. Everyone's alive. The griffins are dead. And a successful dimension dooring.
Okay, my 14.
I'm gonna go over to the tower and see if poke around.
You might want to do that on Fidget.
Technically, I also
On
went with
Digit?
him because I think
Yeah, you gotta
Go with it.
they have to go with him. So we're in the cart.
Fidget! Do you need
You
lay on
essentially
hands?
had to like
Fidget is far away
dimension
from you.
door and like
Grab it.
catch
Yeah,
him
yeah,
on the way
yeah,
through it.
Yeah.
All right, so you're poking around.
I'm gonna go poke around.
Let's
and see if
go.
there's
What's
cubs.
better?
I'm gonna
14
trigger.
points of bludgeoning damage or splatting to death?
Oh yeah,
It was-
I'm trudging back toward them. Thank you.
I didn't say it was a good plan, but nobody else did
No,
anything.
that's better than nothing.
I'm probably leading Henrietta to like follow us.
It was either Dimension Door or Alar's a skid mark.
No.
Actually, your plan was like instituted a more skid mark esque landing. He would have been like a crater.
Yeah.
I feel like the back of our cart has like those bumper stickers that say like "child on board" or something like that, and there's like a big dent. Like
Goblin on board.
Goblin on
Goblin on board. There's like a big like face-shaped dent just in the back.
Do we have the stick figures?
Yeah.
One one of them's been mysteriously like crossed out, and, like peeled off after time.
That's sad.
No, it's
At this point,
it's
several.
it's
We had
still
a big
it's
one
still the
that's
Kel
taken
one.
off. We have a
You've
dry
just,
Someone
like,
just took
you've just,
white.
like, greened
Someone
it out.
took white out
Yeah.
and just put goblin ears
Yeah, you
on
put
it.
goblin ears.
I mean, we have the big one for
Ozyrus?
Yeah, but that we had to like kind of chip away at.
So the inside of the windmill, as you get there, there is the remnants of the the stone grind mill attached to the central axle of this windmill. It's all very busted up and damaged. There is a not really anything around on the floor as you kind of kick through. There's a lot of bones, a lot of it looks to be largely animal bones, things like horses. You see a bunch of like elk skeletons. There are a couple of human-looking bones or humanoid-looking bones kind of scattered throughout that you sort of kick through at the bottom, as well as a large amount of griffin droppings all over the place. There is, you can see there's like a second sort of loft level just below the roof where the other griffin had landed. There's a big hole in it, which seems to be where they were coming in and out. From where you're standing, there is no way, there's not like a stairs or a ladder or anything left anymore to get up there. But you can kind of see sort of the remnants of that platform have there's a bunch of like nest stuff up there.
How high up is that second level?
About like 40-ish feet.
Another 4th level spell slot?
Nope.
That's a. I don't know if I can throw a grappling hook that far, but I'll give it a go.
Maybe do look in.
You what?
Alright, I will throw a grappling hook.
Alright.
Javelin.
Yeah, I.
Oh, I can use the javelin.
Yes,
You
you
have a
could.
javelin.
I tie a rope to the back of the
The
javelin.
never-ending javelin. That's how we lose that
do I have the
javelin
notes for the
forever.
never-ending javelin?
It just works like a regular javelin, except it has no maximum distance. You just throw it and it'll go until it hits something.
22.
That's like a dexterity-based deal.
It was the hit DC. But I guess...
So it's a d20 plus your dex, plus proficiency.
Yeah.
So it's 22? Yeah. Cool. Had she rolled like a 1, it was going through the opening in the skylight.
I was gonna
into
say-
space.
I was gonna say, can we like make sure we tie something of little value?
I assumed you guys tied like a rope,
I tied
to it.
Yeah, I tied a rope to it.
but
so
like,
I
what was on the other side of the rope? Just like
We were probably holding the other end of the rope.
It's something like
All of us are holding that.
Ah! We get sucked along.
something on the other
Never-ending
end of the
stool.
rope is enough to stop it. It's not like Alar has it and she misses the roof and then Alar just gets like carried away
Balloon-
up style
balloon
into the
boy to
sky. Easy enough. So the javelin sticks in the ceiling, the rope hanging down.
I will shimmy my way up.
Alrighty. Make a athletics or acrobatics check.
A
for me.
baby griffin.
Acrobatics.
just toss a baby griffin off a 40-foot ledge.
15.
Easy enough. You scale up the rope.
Roll for a baby griffin.
I don't know why
Oh, they're all dead.
Banking so hard on the baby griffin.
There is.
The you get up there and the javelin is stabbed through a baby griffin.
Do you see a baby griffin?
No.
No baby griffins up here!
She must never know.
I always wanted a griffin!
There is no baby griffins up there.
Oh, okay.
There is. Go ahead and roll. Where's the D100 of Destiny? I think it's on the table there. Roll the D100 of Destiny 2 times.
Okay. So 17
17.
and 34.
Alrighty. 17 and 34. So, mostly up here, there's a bunch of nest material, branches, twigs, dried grass, things like that. There's more bones and stuff up here. You do find the remnants of a pack that was probably on the body of somebody who got carried off up here and devoured in among the stuff in the loft here. What you find is a belt. It's like a wide belt. It is gilded with what looks to be like golden thread, and it has 12 fiery opals. Which I don't know how they're fiery and opals, but that's what the thing says. Set into it.
Don't dry out.
Also, you find 35 was the other one?
34.
34. You find a holy symbol cast in gold.
You can make a religion check to see.
13?
It is a holy symbol to... I'm blanking on the name right now. She's the goddess of, agriculture.
Shanti?
Yes, I think so. I'll come back to that. It's not super important. Let's call it Joaquin, goddess of trade. That's what you found.
Goddess of phoenixes.
Yep. That's it. That appears to be all that is up.
Any baby griffins?
Poke my head up. No.
Oh. Maybe next time.
I'm going to...
There were 5 to 10 years ago, but we killed them, so...
We're at 10 for getting down, so hopefully that was enough.
That's enough.
Okay. Shimmy my way down. Give that a really good tug, will you?
Everyone stand back.
I get out of the way.
You pull. You make a dexterity check.
Saving throw?
So, no, we'll call it a check. I think, because this is
10.
like good enough. Essentially, just like pull it and you go, oh god, as the end of it comes down, sticks into the ground. You retrieve your arrow.
So, anybody here venerate Joaquin?
I mean, yes. My wife's a rather devout follower.
I literally just tossed you
just
the holy symbol.
Just catch the...
Do you need me to heal you?
Sure.
10 points.
I like that she says 10 points, and that doesn't. Everybody's like, what?
I'll be fine.
I can also heal you now.
How many fingers do goblins have? I wonder.
That's a good question.
5 points.
Somewhere
Do
between...
you have 10 fingers? Or do you have
12.
8 fingers? Do you
Or
have
12?
12 in each hand? Oh, 12 maybe. Alright, so that is what you found.
12, but they're not all his.
The Tower of Griffins. And with the Griffins defeated, you are able to set off again. And luckily, the next 2 days pass without any further incidents. You have now been traveling. It is the morning of your 8th day on the road. So you know you're just a few days outside of Wolfmaw. The terrain has grown quite arid here. Based on your maps, you know that you are just about at the point where the Mythlindian, Igni and Honorand borders start to diverge, where you are going to start continuing southeast is going to bring you further and further away from the Ignian border and like more into Honorand at this point. Fidget and Alar, what are your passive perceptions? I think you guys are...
18?
Yours is like lower than I thought it was, I think.
12.
12. You.
Insight is good, though.
Social skills? Not Fidget's strong point.
Investigation.
Shockingly.
Is that good?
Oh.
Okay.
So on the morning of your 8th day, you are in an area where there is quite a bit of high grass on either side of the road. You're in like kind of definitely like a flat, arid grassland at this point. And Alar, you spot something. Something catches your eye off to the side of the road, about 15 feet on the north side of the road, into the grass. A little spot of like bright, clean white and vibrant blue in among the sort of scrubby green-brown of the grass.
Hold up, I see something off and that way.
Is it green?
No.
It's not the grass?
No, it's not the grass. Stop the cart.
We're not playing I Spy.
Once the cart grinds to a
Would have been a
halt,
perfect opportunity for it too.
I hop off the cart and head toward it.
Sure.
Isn't that the exact thing we're doing? We're trying to spy it?
I'm gonna follow Alar.
Okay. So you guys head over there. You walk over to it. You see that it is an arrow. The shaft of the arrow is bone white, and the fletching on it is like a nice vibrant blue. The arrow is sticking out of the corpse of a bird, about yay big, easily recognizable as the breed of messenger sparrow, common throughout the kingdom of Mythlinday.
Does the arrow draw any recognition?
Probably not.
Okay. Fidget, you're from Honorand, right?
Yeah.
You recognize a white arrow with a blue fletching?
No. No, I do not.
I'm gonna look around to see if I can find someone who might have shot an arrow.
Okay. Go ahead and make an investigation for me.
Do I know if the death of a messenger sparrow eliminates the message that's within
It does.
Okay.
2.
You spy grass.
You spy grass.
I would.
Is this recent? Does it look like a very recent kill, or like?
Probably, it's a little bit picked at. So you guess probably. I guess make a medicine check for me. You can determine.
18.
You think probably several days at least.
Whoever wasn't shot probably isn't around. This looks like this was done a couple days ago.
What are the odds that I can use my spell to get it to talk? You think that'll work? It's worth trying.
Won't it just tweet at you?
I don't know. I've never done that before, so.
Arcana? 23?
You would guess, based on what you know about like the way that the enchantment that has been bred into messenger sparrows works, the creature itself would have number one, no ability to speak to you. Mm-hmm. Number two, it retains no like memory or knowledge of the information. Essentially, the bird is just like the transport method for this spell that has been like cooked into their DNA. Pretty unlikely. You think that's possible?
No. But yeah, that's kind of standard tactics. You kill the bird, you kill the message with it.
Is there a way to tell where it came from?
It appears to be a Mythlindian, but there's
Does he have a little collar on it saying who?
It says property is Steve Stevens. No, it does not.
Well, that's not great.
Anything on the bird, such as a
Nope, it's a bird.
Okay.
Do you want to take the arrow?
Do you want to take the bird?
You can bury the bird. It'll make you feel better.
Yes, it would.
Okay.
Please do this dirt thing.
The arrow doesn't appear to be. It's not standard Ignean Empire. Otherwise, if it was
Ignean Army standard issue arrow, you would probably recognize.
Yeah,
it, I think.
This is specialized hunter of some kind.
Well, pull the arrow for now.
Okay.
We'll keep it aside and keep it as a clue, just in case we come in and run across anybody else that just has them holstered or whatever.
Let's hope they don't start shooting them at us.
Fast way to tell where they're coming from.
Yeah, a little too fast for my taste.
I guess the cart kind of left an impression.
Yeah, yeah, I did leave an impression on the cart.
Anyway, I'll just foosh a little hole.
Thank you.
Do you want a full size grave with full ceremony, or do you want like just put it in a tiny hole?
And a bird-sized hole.
I'm gonna make a griffin-sized hole
Okay.
and bury the bird.
Takes a while. Griffins are pretty big, but you get it done.
It would take 30 seconds, I think, to make a 10-foot by 10-foot plot.
Dust thou art, I shall return.
Alright, you guys have a
Okay.
funeral for a bird.
I'm gonna make another gravesite for Brom's sense of patience.
Brom, while they're messing around having a funeral for a bird, you notice about maybe 100 yards further southeast the way that you guys were traveling, you notice some carrion birds, kind of some up in the air, some diving around in the grass. Nula with her 2 investigations did not spot them. Everybody else has been examining birds and otherwise occupied.
I tried to look for them.
She did try. But as they're as Walter is making an enormous hole for this bird and they're preparing a ceremony for it, you spot these carrion birds about 100 yards further down the trail, off to the side.
Okay. Does that they mean anything?
Do you tell us?
Typically carrion birds would indicate that there's some dead stuff over there.
Oh, okay.
In case that wasn't clear.
Alright.
They congregate on carcasses.
I'm not gonna say anything yet.
Okay. So
Because it's towards the way we're headed, right?
It's towards the way you're heading.
Alright, so I'll just take a gander when
So
we
you
get
just
closer.
you just watch this, you see this, you just let them finish their bird funeral, and everybody gets back on the way.
Pat Newell on the shoulder. It's all right.
You were so young. You had so much to look for.
Yeah, I don't know. He was actually kind of middle-aged for a bird.
You know that he could have been a racist.
Yeah, problem with Blue Jays.
He was just going to run messages for the rest of his life.
Racist
Messages.
messages.
Family.
I don't
A
think they let them
racist
have families.
family.
Brom.
Don't you think they have children?
Racist children.
Brom. Why are you making the paladin sad?
My party description?
No, you are
Character flaw.
You don't make the paladin sad. You make the paladin disappointed in you.
It's got to both.
All right, since it is 10:07 and nobody took the bait for this, you guys move.
Well, I was waiting until we get up there to see what's going on.
You begin carrying on. The rest of you guys kind of come into sight of these. You see these birds, and as you guys move up, the first thing you spot, partially on the trail, partially in the tall grass, is a streak of dark brown in the grass where you can see some days old blood soaked in, and a pair of legs sticking out into the road. Human and wearing what you pretty immediately recognize as the uniform of the Mythlindian Home Guard.
Oh no.
I spy with my little eye something brown and smeary.
Brom.
And as you guys take note of this and kind of begin to, take a closer look in the area, you see that right around this patch of trail here, there are about half a dozen corpses. And you are reminded of the patrol that Jeb told you about when you stopped in that little hamlet for lunch the other day, that he said he thought you would be crossing paths with on their way back. Apparently, they befell something which ended them.
More arrows?
Not that you see immediately, but we'll pause there for tonight, so as not to go later, and pick up with you guys can investigate the scene next week. So thank you guys for joining us. Thank you at home for sticking with us despite our weird audio glitch in the beginning and the fact that, for the love of God, I can't remember to turn the microphones back on when we come from break.
Notes.
I'm gonna pass out. Ooh,
Tune in next week for Meat Puppets.
Hang on.
I don't have them in here, but I did buy an entire new pack of note cards. So as they pass those around, if anybody who is still with us in chat, please feel free to cast a vote for the Golden
I got
D20. that is something that we do every week. I have just decided or noticed that Becca does not know the names of everybody in the party still. As I caught her looking at the pictures behind me to see who's had what name.
I do it for spelling.
You do it as a joke. She legitimately doesn't know the name of anything in this campaign.
I will say that I look at the thing whenever I have to write Alar. I never remember how to spell it.
I was looking for spelling.
This is my friend. This is Barry and
Frank Barry.
I want to say
Alar.
Heimlich.
This is my buddy Chaz.
Hey, you.
Nothing was better than the original character I ever played in first D&D when the party met up with Bupito. Who they had a whole backstory, and my character, who had showed up way late, was like, "Look, I don't care who Boopy Doop is, right?"
Boopy Doop, I remember Boopy Doop. So again, if you're still with us, please give me a vote for somebody who you want to have the golden D20, somebody who did something funny or awesome or inspired during tonight's session. Gives them a free natural 20 that they can use during next week's session. So you have until about the last couple of people pass me their notes here, and then we will read them off.
Well, I didn't make it. My vote doesn't count, sorry.
Alright, waiting for Brom. Alrighty. We have Fidget for Sith Lightning. And then a diagram of a lightning bolt. We have Fidget for Crispy Griffin. We have Alar for Crash Landing. We have Nula for I Spy. And Nula for Nula Griffin Mom Shoreheart. We have a vote from chat for Brahm's plan. Which actually gives us a two-way tie. That's the first time this has happened in a while. We have 2 votes for Nula and 2 votes for Fidget. Didn't
we also have 2 votes for? No, we have 1 for each of you.
Yeah, we had 1 for each of you.
For the same act.
I only cast a vote in the event of the tie to break the tie, but my vote also would have gone for the dimension door trick.
We have a 4-way tie.
3-way tie. You know what? Here's what we're gonna do.
Fight to death for it.
I'm gonna tie break in favor of Nula for I Spy, as I quite enjoy the running I Spy joke that has permeated the campaign at this point. So we'll give Nula the golden D20 for next week, and I'm gonna award Brahm an inspiration die for Dimension Door shenanigans. I think that's how we will handle that.
Not like I don't have the ability to essentially do that myself, but it works out. I can't cast it on myself though, right?
No, inspiration die gives you advantage.
Inspiration die is an advantage.
Okay, cool.
So it's like super bardic inspiration. Alright, so thank you guys for joining me tonight. Thank you guys for sticking with us. Join us next time as the party investigates what is happening with the apparently slain Mythlindian Home Guard patrol along the Mythlindian-Ignian border, and continues on their way to Wolfmaw Village to meet their contact Feather in the Wind. So remember, when you are fighting a pack of vicious griffins and your party rogue is falling at terminal velocity and you plan to dimension door him to safety, remember to take into account that portals do not affect velocity of the thing that enters it. And don't forget to add your proficiency bonus. Thank you for joining us. Good night. We will see you next week.